3 times in the game, and that was in the fourth quarter, where Southwestern had the football and had a chance to take the lead, those two combinations for the first time. And on all 3 occasions, the defense was able to make a stop. And to me, that ended up being the most important thing, because you could go 3 years for sure, Todd, 4 definitely, maybe even 2. Put the same scenario there, and just because of the culture, the game would have gotten away. It did not, which leads me to my pregame show miracle statement, okay? Will it be a miracle if there's a win over Harding? I think not. Will it be a surprise? I think partially. But to me, here's one of the biggest keys. These guys from Harding are going to come down the hill here in a moment from where they dress. They're going to come onto the field. And I know that their coaching staff is hoping that they're not living a week in the past, because they ended the longest winning streak in the history of the Great American Conference last week when they knocked off Washita. How will that affect them? Will it affect them enough that OBU gets out of the gate, maybe gets a lead, able to do some things? I think that's very important. On the other side, I think for OBU, this is the time now that they know in their minds, are we going to continue to chase in this league, or are we finally going to get even with a chance for a dead heat?
I think on a slippery turf today, who runs the football best may be the winner. Of course, we all know that Harding nearly throws the football. They've attempted just 16 pass attempts in the first 4 ball games, a 3-1 ledger in conference. They average through the air just 25.8 yards per game.
It's just amazing to hear that, isn't it?
In today's world, it is.
Setting a game out of first.
Meanwhile, the rush offense is not only the conference best, but the best of the NCAA at 387 yards per ball game. All of a sudden, Brooksy, OBU has resurged on the ground game as well. 180 yards here 2 weeks ago for Tyler Stever against Northwestern. Last week, he followed that up with 25 carries, 178 yards, and a touchdown in earning Conference Offensive Player of the Week honors.
Now, I know you and I probably split a decision here, because probably if you had your way, Tyler would just run and run and run and never would stop. But I do like the combination of sticking Ruben in from time to time. And I've nicknamed him the Scoot. You heard it on the I hope to hear it from you today. So Scoot Thompson, I think, needs to be in there from time to time just to get a little bit different look. But you're right. And if this ground game continues to do that, you know who's sitting with that number 12 on his jersey, getting ready to take advantage of it through the air.
Wandog, it didn't have much of a time to be down on the field before the ball game. There was a little bit of standing water on the OBU sideline. Traditionally, this all-natural surface is one of the best draining surfaces you'll find. How much is footing going to be a problem? And if so, does that benefit the Bison, who are really more of a two-pronged offensive attack?
Yeah, I think it's going to benefit Harding because of their running. It's a little bit soft, but it's such a great grass turf field. It absorbed the water well. It's just that it's been so dry throughout September, that it was such a fast track. Now it's just a little bit soft, but I think it's going to give. But Felipe Aviar, I talked to him last week. He wasn't in pads. Got that safety coming up. Hopefully he'll help the run. He's going to play this game. He said he could have played last week, except he didn't have any practice in.
Bison went to a 3-man front, Scott, in the offseason. Their coaching staff and Will Coleman, who we'll hear from in the pregame show, all say that move in the offseason has better prepared them with minor changes to attack what Harding does on offense.
I agree with that. I think those 4 linebackers with the 3-man front can come in and shoot some of those gaps and kind of see the plays develop, because we know that's a big concern. OBU stopping the run. When Washita Baptist went in that Wildcat, you knew they were going to run. Oklahoma Baptist couldn't stop them, lost that first game at Washita. But the good news is last week at Southwestern, the Bison held Southwestern to less than 100 yards rushing.
OBU really did a much better job against Southwestern. The final numbers would bear out, as Southwestern had 388 yards of offense, actually 288 when you take out 2 big plays through the passing game. Coming up next, it's our weekly visit with Bison head coach Chris Jensen. That and more still ahead on the Bison Radio Network.
What cut do they use on the conference call?
The slip screen to Keelan.
What?
The slip screen to Keelan. That 20-yard touchdown.
Good. We could talk on breaks now. They took care of it upstairs?
Yeah.
For sure? Creighton, come here.
You guys are handling upstairs.
Yes,
On the
breaks or cut you off. Yes, we'll be.
On the
Yes,
breaks.
yep, yep. We will cut the audio.
named the Defensive Player of the Week. That's important because as a team, you have to have success in order to get honors and recognition for this league.
That's true, especially in the GAC. If you're not winning, you're not going to get recognized, and so that's true in season. That's true in postseason recognition as well. And so, the collective effort by everybody in the program has led to our guys being recognized, and they're well deserving. Those, the guys that have been recognized by the conference have been some of the guys that work the hardest in our program.
Harding week is upon us. That usually means a lot of sleepless nights, especially for coaches on the defensive side of the ball. But the changes you made in this past offseason, moving to a three-man front, that makes preparation for a game and an opponent like Harding a little bit easier, doesn't it?
It does. We don't have to change our structure or what we do. We can just do what we do. And even with the pressures that we bring, still feel good. The main thing about it is, just maintaining discipline. The players have to maintain discipline, and that's what Harding tries to exploit, is a lack of discipline. And so if they have a big game offensively, we would have had some breakdowns. And so we've got to do our job, do it at a high level, down after down for 60 minutes.
Old-style football is what the Bisons play, and it's evident because one of their leading rusher and one of their best players all time is a fullback. How important is it to stopping Cole Chansey, thus far shutting down the Bisons' offense?
Yeah, they have so much success on the perimeter with the toss that they do and the pitches out of the option, the triple option. But with all the success on the perimeter, if you don't pay attention to that guy in the middle, he can have big gains, and he does. Every game you can see him bust off 20, 30, 40, 50-yard runs, and those are the kinds of things you have to contain, keep him from getting those big gains.
How much evaluation do you do now in the 6 years that you've been lining up opposite of Harding and going back and looking at past games and taking things from different games and deleting things from different games as to what you've done against this team?
Well, I think you just keep it all in memory, and obviously we do watch film, but we're more interested in the most previous game because that's, a lot of times things change based on personnel, and even for them in their offense, there are some things that they do more of now that they didn't do back then, and there's some things they don't quite do as much, and so the personnel is what you really want to identify.
Had a lot of rain in the Shawnee area the last couple of days. Does that favor Oklahoma Baptist, perhaps on a wet track?
I'll claim that it does. But I guess that's everybody's going to make a case for why it's going to help them and not hurt them. But I just think the way we throw the ball, if our wide receivers can keep their footing on soggy turf, they know where they're going, so they can make cuts and there's usually some more openings in the secondary just because they can't respond to the cuts as fast. And, a lot of times it does favor the passing teams.
OBU head football coach
Chris Jensen, our guest here on the pregame show. Coming up next, we'll visit with junior from Austin, Texas, safety Will Coleman. That's next after these local messages on the Bison Radio Network.
Will Coleman, a junior from Austin, Texas. Will, congratulations on a good start. You're 3-1. And I know you guys, especially on the defense side of the football, are flying around. Look like you're having more fun.
Oh, yeah, for sure. This is the most, as a defense, that we've gelled together this year. And when you got 10 guys behind you, even if you're making a mistake that are going to support you, you tend to have a lot more fun. So we're enjoying ourselves out there.
Biggest change in the offseason, or at least the prolonged offseason from 2019 when we last saw you out on the field, is that three-man front. Talk about what the changes defensively have meant for you guys as a total unit.
I think we're better equipped to stop the run, which you might not think. Moving to a three-man front. We have guys on the outside who can roll down and turn it into a four-man front. I think the change just energized us a lot, doing something new, something different for us. It's been a lot of fun.
Was the time off beneficial? Nobody wanted to not have a 2020 season, but with you guys learning a new defensive scheme, do you feel like you're much further ahead now than you would have been if you'd played last year?
For sure. I think getting 1,000,001 reps against our offense has been very beneficial. Lots of time to practice and then perfect things, tweak things against the best offense in the GAC. So, yeah, I think it's been very beneficial for the defense.
Playing against that offense sometimes can be humbling, but it also builds confidence, doesn't it? Because, yeah, you're going to give up big plays to them in practice, but so does everybody on Saturdays. You guys, when you make plays against them, know that you can defend really anybody.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And like you said, it can be humbling at times. They are very good at what they do, but this year and all of last year was times where we felt like we could go toe-to-toe with them at times, and so we had a lot of confidence coming into the year.
Harding week, that always means different headaches, different challenges for the defensive side of the football. But you said before we came on that that's not so much the case this year because you're running a three-man front.
Yeah, so in the past we've come into Harding week and completely changed the whole game plan, even have different formation stuff that we had never run before, but we're keeping pretty much the same this year, or this week against Harding, as we will every other week, with just smaller, tiny adjustments. And so it's not as much as an overall haul of things. We're going to be keeping things similar for the most part.
When you play a team like Harding, more so than against anybody else, every single person out there on the field has to be sound and disciplined. It's a little frustrating sometimes because you can get everything blocked right. You can run all your schemes you want to do, but sometimes they just hit you with that big play.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And, a lot of guys, they want to help each other out. They might think that they see you run this way, want to go run to the ball, and that's when they break it where they're supposed to be. And so it's about trusting everyone else to be where they need to be and to make the plays.
Last week, you prepare for the starting quarterback of Southwestern. You get to Weatherford, all of a sudden he's in street clothes. Now you're facing a completely different guy in Jaleel Kilpatrick. Was there much adjustment that had to be made between the two different quarterbacks?
I think coming in, we had a game.
Well, unfortunately, we had some technical difficulties with the end of our interview with Will Coleman. Certainly enjoyed spending some time with the junior from Austin, Texas, and he is a big reason that this defensive unit is much, much improved from 2019 here to 2021. Talking about Harding's ability to run the football, we told you they lead not only the Great American Conference, but all of NCAA Division II football in rushing yards per game at 387. They went for over 400 for the first time in 62 meetings head-to-head with Ouachita Baptist last week. And here is one other statistic that is mind-boggling in 2021. Their four receivers, Wallace, Cindric, City, and Townsend, combined 8 career receptions coming into this afternoon's matchup. 5 of those 8 have come here in 2021, where Preston Payton, the senior signal caller from Burleson, Texas, is 5 of 13 passing for 103 yards. We'll have more pregame as both teams are about to make their way out of the field here on this, what is a very pleasant fall afternoon in Shawnee. It's Oklahoma Baptist and Harding coming up momentarily on the Bison Radio Network. I have no idea what happened. My interview cut off. Just cut off.
Your interview did?
Yep.
Just kick me in the shin next time.
1, 2,
4. Number 4.
4.
Scott's cordless is in 5. Shawnee and OBU really closed the gap a lot. They gave up 50 points, but the Bison put up 33. That's the most they've ever put up head-to-head against this vaunted Harding Bison's defense. Harding again comes in among the nation's best offensively and defensively in rush offense and rush defense. They're allowing less than 89 yards per game for the opposition. Number 1 in the conference, number 23 nationally, and they also are very good against the pass, ranking 41st nationally, allowing just 145 yards per ball game. The captains are meeting. We'll have the coin toss, and we'll be back to kick it off next. You've been listening to the Bison Radio Network pregame show. Stay tuned for these local messages on the OBU Football Network. The white and black tops over black bottoms, Bison with green helmets, and the Bisons from Harding in the gold helmets. Sixth all-time meeting between Harding and Oklahoma Baptist. Our first quarter of the Bison Network presented by McIntyre Law. If you need an experienced award-winning personal injury attorney, call OBU analyst Noble McIntyre and his team at McIntyre Law. Here we go, and we are off and running, and that will be a short kick by Gigi. It's going to be returned from the 10 out to the 20-yard line, up to the 25, and still going close to the 30. So a return of almost 20 yards, and Harding will have good starting field position. The first kickoff of the afternoon was brought back by Kyler McDonald.
Yeah, if any wind comes into play in this game, it's going to the south. Every now and then there's a burst, and Gigi didn't take advantage of that.
14:43 to play here in the first half. Harding has thrown, as we told you, 13 passes this season. They have been sacked 3 times, so not a real good passing attempt to sack ratio. Preston Payton is one of the best quarterbacks all time. In fact, his 22 victories in 29 career starts make him the all-time winningest signal caller in Harding history. Handoff goes to Cole Chansey, the All-American at fullback, and he falls forward for 2 to the 32-yard line. And again, key, Scott, are so important. You cannot play unsound, undisciplined football against this team.
No doubt about it, and good job by linebacker Elijah Tomlin right there, playing his gap. The fullback took the ball on that first dive.
Harding will slow the game down. Their games typically average about 2 hours and 40 minutes to play. In 2019, the OBU Harding matchup was the second shortest game amongst the 11 the Bison played. 2 wings, the fullback. Now they'll motion a man to the far side. That's Omar Sinclair. They give it to Sinclair. He's got some running room, and he is close to a first down. He'll be tripped up about a yard short at the 39-yard line, and that's what they love to do, hammer the fullback and then get one of those slot backs in motion.
Yeah, Malik Allen was very close to blowing that pitch up, but like you said, Payton, a very good quarterback, pitched that out to the lead, got it away from Allen and returned the corner.
Harding on third downs, 4th best in the Great American Conference at just under 49%. They need a yard. They're at the 39. They need to get to their own 40. They'll hand it off at a quick hitter to Cole Chansey, and Chansey falls forward to move the sticks out to the 42. And this is a typical Harding ball control drive. And Scott, one area that we didn't talk about on the pregame show where I think a wet surface does help OBU, the ball handling that the Bison choose.
Yeah, the Bison's, just pushing off a little bit of softer turf, too, can move the line back. But Lola Fee and Torian Smith did a good job trying to slow up the fullback. He just fell over the sticks for a first down.
You can see why Harding is the leader in Division II football in time of possession, better than 37 minutes per ball game. They average more than 7 minutes per game, better than Oklahoma Baptist. First down and 10 to the 42, and this time Payton will keep it as Preston cuts up right in and gets 3 to the 45-yard line. So right now it's 2 or 3 yards a pop, and the Bisons will be happy to settle for that.
Oh, yeah. When you talk to Brandon Morris at halftime, he'd be happy with people being disciplined against this offense.
One game just starting, Arkansas Tech at Southern Nazarene. They kicked at 12:30. It's homecoming in Arkadelphia. Northwestern played at Ouachita. Big game of the conference this week starting at 2 o'clock. That's down at Durant. The only 2 unbeatens in the Great American Conference remaining square off at 2 o'clock. We'll get you the rest of the schedule after this play. It's second down and 7 at the 45-yard line. Now they'll pitch to the near side, and Taylor Bassell is going to be drugged down on a great tackle at the 48-yard line. Reading the play perfect was Elijah Tomlin.
Yeah, Tomlin's been reading the plays. On the very first play of the game, he kind of blew up the fullback.
Third down and 4. Harding last week was over 50% on third down conversions in their double-digit victory at Ouachita that snapped the conference record 30-game win streak of the Tigers. Harding comes in top 15 in one poll. They're 23rd ranked to the other. They'll send the Sinclair the slot back in motion. They tots it that way. Omar trying to get to the corner. He did, and he is tripped up right at the first down marker. Second effort may have gotten him to the 48 of OBU.
Wow, Matthew Norman tripped up St. Clair almost. But great job by St. Clair, keeping his balance, tippy-toeing, and reaching the ball past the sticks.
He needed 4. That's exactly what he managed. To the 48, first down number 2 for Harding in the opening drive of the afternoon. Already this possession for the Bisons is over 4 minutes in duration. That's why you have to make the most of your opportunities on offense, because they're cut in half from an average usually of what you get per contest on a week-to-week basis. Sinclair sends in motion. They handed off to Chancey, fumbled the football, and Cole dives back on it right near the line of scrimmage. And Chancey was very, very fortunate. He is very sure-handed, but there was not an Oklahoma Baptist defender within a yard or two, or that might have been a turnover.
Well, Payton's such an astute quarterback. He's a senior, been doing that over. It looked like there's trouble with the exchange, but the ball bounced straight off the turf back right up into Chancey's hands.
Offensive line for the Harding Bisons averages 258 tackle to tackle. In 13 pass attempts, they've given up 3 sacks of Preston Payton. Second down and 10. They'll motion now Jaleel Spencer. They hand it off to Chancey behind right guard, and he shoots inside the 45 and is down to the 40. Give him 8, and again, it's third down and 2, and that is the key to stopping this offense. You have to keep them behind the chains.
Yeah, that looked like a draw play if you call that. Harding's going to have to mix in a pass here soon. But Payton went back straight full speed and just dumped it off to Chancey at the last second.
This drive already 5 minutes and 20 seconds old. We're in the first quarter. There's no score. Harding won and took the first possession to start the contest. Chancey with Preston Payton under center. 2 wings and a wide receiver split to the near side. Spicer motions to the far side. It's a hitter quickly to Cole Chancey. And he has another first down to the 35-yard line. Went right behind Austin Tolar, the sophomore from Texarkana, Texas, at right guard. And first down number 3 for the Bisons on this opening drive.
You're pretty optimistic, Scott, saying that they were going to have to throw. They've thrown 16 times this season. So I like your optimism.
I'm just feeling it, John. I'm just thinking that Harding's
going to be a bad time right now.
Yes, with all the Bison pulled up, I'm thinking Harding wants to pop one deep.
Spicer is slot back left. Taylor Bassell is slot right. They have a receiver flanked about 2 yards off the left side of the line of scrimmage, and Chancey is the fullback. They fake the handoff. Now they'll toss it to Bassell coming left. Taylor makes a cut at the 35, stays on his feet, and is down to the 31-yard line. 5 yards on first down, and Brooksy used to do a team down in Norman that ran the wishbone, and they would be very, very happy all afternoon long, averaging 3, 4, 5 yards on first down.
Oh, they'd be very, very happy, and then they'd hit the tight end for a 45-yarder and go back to running again.
Second down and 5 for Harding at the Oklahoma Baptist 31-yard line. 8:15 to play here in the first quarter. There's no score, and Harding still in the game's opening possession has started back at their 30. Chancey is the fullback. Payton is under center. He'll give it to Cole. Right guard didn't get there. Got a yard to the 30. OBU stayed true to their keys that time. They were able to get low to the football, and Nick Boone led a host of Bison there to make the tackle.
Trajan Lands as well in there. Good job just to limit that play to a yard. Here's a big, big stop play right here.
7:45 to play in the first quarter. This is the 12th play of the Harding drive, and you can bet they're in 4-down territory. The crowd on the near side trying to urge the defense on. They are going to have their hands cut out for them today on a warm afternoon of the Carl Albert, a transfer from Oklahoma State, led the charge defensively for the Bison. He needed 4. That's exactly what he got to the 26 of OBU. And now we are under 7 minutes to play here in the first quarter. I've always joked with my friend Billy Morgan, the voice of Harding football. I said, you have the easiest job in the world, 2.5 hours once a week. First down and from the 26-yard line. Wide receivers left and right for Preston Payton, and he will keep it as he cuts up off right in and is tripped up. And it's Felipe Alvear that made the tackle wearing number 0. Felipe missed both the Northwestern and Southwestern wins for OBU. Gain of about 3 for Harding on first down.
You know, to me, the thing that's so impressive on the drive already, and we've seen it before in the past, Harding is so methodical, and every time there is a key moment, what do you find? Yards after the hit. You know, somebody's going to get 2 or 3 when you thought they had him stopped, and it just extends the drive and extends it.
Sinclair motions to the far side. They pitch it to him. He fumbled, and it's free on the turf, and Oklahoma Baptist has come up with it. Harding has caught the football up on an attempted pitch to Omar Sinclair. Nick Boone recovers it at the 29-yard line. Both of these teams very good in turnover margin. Second and third, respectively, in the league. And the first break of the afternoon goes to the Bison.
Boy, don't you like my analysis? I talk about all the key things and how they make extra yardage at the exact moment. And as soon as I shut up talking, the ball comes free.
First down and 10, Oklahoma Baptist at the 29-yard line with 6 minutes to play here in the first quarter. So Harding owned 9 minutes of time of possession on the opening drive, and they come up with a rare miscue and give it back to the Bison on the turnover. Preston Hare with the co-offensive player of the week offensively in the league. Tyler Stever in the backfield. Out of the pistol. Hare drops, throws over the middle. The ball is caught by Julian Clark. Good gain on first down to the 36-yard line.
I like that vertical passing game OBU starting out with. Going to Clark up the right hash instead of these horizontal passes.
Guys, here's a stat to watch. Chris Jensen told me this week if we could average 10 yards on pass plays, got a great chance to win this ball game. Second down and 3. They fake the handoff, dump it over the middle when the ball is caught. Sam Sharp a first down at the 42-yard line of the Bison. And OBU quickly going as they have the pedal to the metal and 5:15 to go in a scoreless first quarter.
It's just a different pedal. This one's through the air. The other pedal coming the other way is on the ground.
First and 10, OBU at the 42-yard line, moving from left to right on your radio dial here in the first quarter of play. They hand it to Stever for the first time, and Stever runs right up the gut, falls forward for a yard to the 43. Up off the bottom of the pile for the Harding defense was Nathaniel Wallace, a sophomore out there from Bryant, Arkansas. Harding is pretty young on their two deep on the defensive side of the football. They're going to rotate 4 new down linemen. That has been one of the strengths of this Bison's defense over the years. They go 2, sometimes 3 deep. In evaluating the Bisons this week, OBU coaches don't feel like that third unit is maybe as strong as they've been in the past. Back to throw his Hare, flush for the pocket, throws on the run. He's got Keelan Harris at the 40. Harris is off to the races to the 20, 15 to the 10, 5, touchdown, Oklahoma Baptist. Holy Toledo! Keelan Harris takes a pass on the right flat and beats the defenders down the boundary, and Oklahoma Baptist has a 6-0 lead.
Single coverage on the near side. Everybody thinking somebody's going to slant. He rolls right, had him free, Scotty, at the 30. It was GBC, baby. Goodbye, City.
What a great design play. As soon as Preston Hare rolled to the right, that brought the corner up, and then Keelan Harris snuck back down the right sideline.
Garcia on for the extra point. McCassin gets the high snap from Russell down, and Gigi boots it through. Timeout on the field. 4:50 to play in the first quarter. OBU has had the football for 90 seconds, and they lead 7-0. Back after these messages from Noble McIntyre on the OBU Football Network.
Hey, Todd.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot you an ID.
Crowd mic okay?
Do what?
Crowd mic okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you still want that ID,
How
Z-Man?
long was the touch?
57. You still need that ID? Okay. 57, Brooksy.
Got it.
Before we kick it off, let's pause for stations down the line to identify themselves. This is Oklahoma Baptist Bison football on the OBU Radio Network.
And we welcome you back. The kickoff will be coming up in a moment. Speaking of station identification, we welcome to the Oklahoma City market not only 1340 AM, but now we're on both sides of the dial with 98.5 FM El Patron, along with El Patron 98.5, of course, in Norman, and our great affiliates in Pawhuska, Bartlesville, and Tulsa.
70 seconds, not 90 seconds. All that OBU's had the football here in the first period. They lead it by a count of 7-0 for Keelan Harris. That is his 11th career touchdown reception and his 8th as he's over 500 receiving yards as a sophomore. Here is Garcia to kick it away from left to right. Much better boot as this will drive the return man 5 yards deep in the end zone. He'll take it in. It'll be a touchback and first down and 10 now for the Harding Bisons. Guys, this is key. If you can get them not only behind the chains but behind the scoreboard a couple of scores, you might force them out of their comfort zone.
Oh, no doubt about it. Like they said, they use up 9 minutes in that first drive, and they just make it inside the Bison 30. I think that has a lot to do with what Oklahoma Baptist was doing with that hurry-up offense, knowing that we were going to have just so many possessions and try to get on top early.
Total offense, OBU 72 yards. Harding 14 plays for 42 yards, but they own possession of the football for more than 9 minutes of the first quarter. 7-0 Oklahoma Baptist. Same formation with Payton under center. Sinclair goes in motion to give right side to Chansey, and he's spun down about the 27-yard line. Give him 2. Cole Chansey comes in the second all-time leading rusher in Harding football history with 4,079 yards. He has 49 career touchdowns and needs 139 yards to take over as the all-time leading ground gainer in Harding football history. Also, if he reaches the end zone today, he has 50. He would become one of 3 active players at the NCAA Division II level playing with 50 touchdowns. 2nd down and 7. The line of scrimmage at the 28-yard line. They fake the handoff, pitch it left, and a good tackle. Great tackle as Zach Smith had the football on the pitch, and Tyler King came up and took his feet from out from underneath him. That will go for 2, but it's going to bring up 3rd down and 5.
What was so great about that tackle, Tyler King was fighting off a blocker, got off that block, and then got the running back coming through the hole.
3:40 to play here in the first quarter. Sunbathed field, the crowd enjoyed it so far. Oklahoma Baptist leading Visting and nationally ranked Harding by a touchdown. It is 7-0. Chansey the lone setback. No tight ends, 2 swings, and a receiver to the far side. Payton to throw for the first time. Guns it over the middle. He's got a receiver open, and it's caught by Zach Townsend inside the 30-yard line.
We knew that was coming, and that was on Tyler King. Tyler King let Townsend just get a couple steps behind him on that play.
39 yards to the 31 is where they put it down, as Townsend has his longest reception of the season. His only other was his first of his career back in week 1 when they whitewashed East Central and Searcy 28-0. That catch went for just 9 yards. 1st and 10 at the 31-yard line, under 3 minutes to play. That was a pretty well-thrown football by Preston Payton. Sometimes they'll lull you to sleep and they'll throw a dying duck. That was really on the mark. Back to the ground game. Payton will option right. He's hit, stays on his feet, lunges forward, and he's going to get down to the 27-yard line. That will make it 2nd down and 6. And the next play will take us under 3.5 minutes to go in the first quarter.
Keeper, number 11.
Yeah, of all the games, Harding is 5-0 against Oklahoma Baptist. And of all the games I've seen of those games, this is the best run defense that Oklahoma Baptist has shown against Harding so far.
Scott, you and I talked about it on the pregame show. Chris Jensen, Will Coleman talked ad nauseum with this week about going to that 3-man front has really allowed simplification, if you will, during the prep week for Harding, not having to change a whole lot of things unlike they've had to do in the past.
Yeah, I like with the 4, when you have the 4 linebackers behind the 3 down linemen, those linebackers have better vision of seeing the play develop and then just can crash right up into the hole.
Harding looking to the far side to get the play. They always run the play clock down under 10. It's currently at 10. The game clock reads 2 minutes to play here in the first quarter. They motion Sinclair to the far side. Payton will keep it. He is close to a 1st down as he was hit and dropped at the 22-yard line. And coming up was Brandon Spencer from safety, the freshman from Frisco, Texas, to make the tackle.
Brandon Spencer's been at the point of attack on a couple tackles there. That pass play to Townsend has opened it up where OBU just can't come up too quick as far as they've been.
3rd down and less than a yard for the Harding Bisons. They rest the football between the 21 and 22-yard line. They need to get to the Bison 20. So they're just outside the red zone. Late first quarter, 7-0 OBU. They'll send the man in motion, Vassell to the near side. And again, it's Payton that keeps it. He's hit and drags the defender for a 1st down, as Marco Lucas, the senior from Edmond Santa Fe, was the one that got him by the foot, but not before he could stretch out for a 1st down to the 20.
Yeah, Marco Lucas had Payton's left leg. If there was help, there's no way Payton could have fell forward for that 1st down.
Payton, so far 5 carries, 19 yards. His longest has been from 5 yards. First and 10 at the red zone for Harding. Harding has been good this year in red zone efficiency. They're 14 of 19, and you guessed it, all 11 of their scores have been touchdowns on the ground. Sinclair motions, give to Chansey up the middle. He falls forward as he gets to the 17. And OBU right now really playing some sound, disciplined football out there on the stop side.
And that was Marco Lucas again hitting the ball carrier at the point of attack.
Cole Chansey, the leading ground gain to this point for the Bisons, 21 yards. Harding has not had a run for longer than 8 yards. Their biggest play has been 40 through the air, and that was Preston Payton to James Townsend. 13 seconds to play in the first period. Motion man, Sinclair to the far side. They'll toss it to him that way again. Omar with nimble feet, breaking tackles, gets inside the 10, and then is rolled out of bounds around the 6-yard line. Do you see the footwork, though, by Omar Sinclair, the transfer from NAIA Concordia, Michigan?
I tell you, they barely got the snap off. Not the play clock, the game clock was wheeling down from the 1 to the 0 when that snap came. They almost hit the quarter without that play.
Here's what we're going to do because the first quarter went so quickly. We're going to go straight down the log. This will be break number 2 for McIntyre Law. At the end of 1, 7-0 is our score on the Bison Radio Network.
Noble McIntyre.
And I'm Jordan Klinger of McIntyre Law.
The devastation of losing a loved one is impossible to measure. When it happens because of someone else's negligence, the grief can be overwhelming. Wrongful death cases are unique.
Whether the cause was an automobile, semi, motorcycle, medical malpractice, or job-related accident, we can help.
If you want to know more about your family's rights, call us. The consultation is free. We love what we do, and we're good at it. We are trial lawyers. Call McIntyre Law today.
All of that except 40 yards on the ground. And as we start quarter number 2, the visitors from Searcy, Arkansas will have it on the red zone, first down and 10 at the 6. Hey, OBU fans, located less than 5 minutes from campus, Hampton Inn Shawnee offers free breakfast and exclusive OBU visitors discount. Call and reserve your room today for 15% off your next stay. 2 other games starting at 2 o'clock today in the Great American Conference. Southern Arkansas is in Ada to tangle with East Central. Southwestern is in Arkansas, Monticello. Henderson State and Southeastern squaring in Durant. They are 4-0 in the league. These two, along with East Central and Ouachita, are 3-1. UAM, Southern Arkansas are 2-2. Tech, Northwestern, Southwestern, Southern Nazarene all in the conference basement through a month of the season at 0-4. Preston Payton now will direct the offense from left to right across your radio dial. He will go from north to south. And again, he will have it first down and 10 at the 6-yard line. They motion Bassell to the near side. They give it to Chansey behind left guard. He's in for the touchdown. Boy, Dalton Allen, the junior from Lancaster, Texas, pulled at guard, and, man, he just created a gaping hole in the left side.
You had a pull by Lancaster, and then the wide receiver, who's usually not split out very far, just off the tight end. Roland Wallace came in for a seal block, and that just made a huge highway for the ball carrier.
Grant Ennis, who is 17 of 17 on extra point tries, his sophomore season out of Lavaca, Arkansas, on to try and tie the game at 7. Good snap, ball is down, kick is on the way, and that one is good. 4 seconds gone to the second period. Oklahoma Baptist and 24th ranked Harding knotted at 7 on the OBU Radio Network.
Johnny offers free breakfast that includes.
Estate planning is a crucial step in protecting your family's future. With an estate plan, you can decide how to distribute your assets, make healthcare decisions, and support ministries after you pass away. It involves some pretty big decisions, but with guidance from Water's Edge, you can plan for your children's future, give to kingdom causes, and get expert help along the way. Build a solid foundation for your family. Start your estate plan today. Visit watersedgeservices.org.
territory the first time. 4 plays from Preston Hare, the final 57 to Keelan Harris, and then Cole Chansey reaches the end zone for the 50th time in his career at Harding on a 6-yard run. We're tied at 7. Be aware of onside kicks. The Bisons have recovered 4 onside kicks in the last 3 weeks. They did last week at Washington. Ennis looks left, he looks right, and now he approaches, and he will onside it to the near side, and it's going to go out of bounds. And OBU's going to get very good at starting field position.
Good call by Todd Miller right there.
A good call by Todd Miller and a bad onside kick.
Just a little bit too much power. You know, Harding really makes you be disciplined. That was an onside kick formation all the way on the left. There's nobody on the right side of the field, and they were trying to make it look like they'd kick it to the left side, and then he pooched it to the right, and as John pointed out, it was a little bit too firm out of bounds.
OBU will start at the 48-yard line in Harding territory after the failed onside kick attempt. The Bison have been really good in covering up onside kicks. In fact, you have to go all the way back to 2016 to find the last time an opponent had success against OBU in an onside kick attempt. Out of the gun, it's Hare. Starts his second possession. Pocket holds. Dumps it over for Cordell. Cordell was hit at the 47. They never did get him down, but they were able to usher him out of bounds after a yard gain on the reception. Second to line.
Number 10, Josh Cordell complete.
First quarter stats, excuse me, very quickly. 111 yards for Harding, 40 of that through the air. OBU had 72, 71 of it through the air.
Keelan Harris would have 2 receivers deployed to the short side of the field. 1 wide receiver is Josh Cordell. He's split to the near side. They'll motion the tight end Sam Sharp to the right side. They give it straight ahead to Stever. Breaking tacklers. Tyler is able to get to the 44-yard line. And that's going to bring up 3rd down. Oklahoma Baptist on 3rd down conversions this year. 3rd best in the Great American Conference in the top 50 nationally, converting almost 51%.
Great job by Tyler Stever bouncing off Dylan Hendricks, the linebacker. Hit him hard right in the side of the ribs. That was at the point of attack. He gets 4 after that.
3rd down and 6. OBU at the Harding 44-yard line. 2 receivers to the right, 3 receivers left. It's an empty backfield for Hare. Hare drops back to his 47, throws, and he had Garner, and he miscommunicated with Shea at the 40-yard line, and Garner is not at all happy. I think he might be upset with his quarterback there on that throw. Now a decision for Chris Jensen at a 7-7 ball game with 13:45 to play in the first half.
Well, there's no question his body language is awful. He's making it quite clear, hey, I thought I was supposed to, let's see, he threw it behind him, thought he was going to come outside, right?
Ethan McCassin will be on to punt. 2 weeks ago here against Northwestern, he had a career best afternoon or evening at 42.5%. Last week, he was pretty good at Southwestern, averaged 40.5%. High punt to the far side. They'll call for a fair catch, and it will be made somewhere in the vicinity of the 17 or 18-yard line. Ethan McCaskill does his job, and now it's up to the OBU defense with 13:35 to play here with the first half. Harding will start at the 18-yard line, make that the 19 after a 31-yard punt.
Well, that punt went straight up the elevator shaft. I'm surprised that was 31 yards. Harding starting at the 19. I was just hoping that ball would get closer to the 10-yard line.
Timeout on the field. We'll take a break. 7-7 our score. Early second quarter of the Bison Radio Network.
State Farm Agent for all your auto.
Possible to cook up the barbecue bacon burger at home? Well, that depends. Does your home have fresh chopped onions, pickles, smoked cheddar, Monterey Jack, bacon, tangy barbecue sauce, and orange and white stripes with the word Whataburger emblazoned on the front of it? If so, then absolutely. Good thing there's the limited time barbecue bacon burger at Whataburger.
defensively for OBU en route to a 3-1 start. Josh Arnold last week named the Great American Conference Defensive Player of the Week. He had 16 tackles, 7 for loss. That is a school record, and 3 sacks. Second down and 10 for Harding at their own 19-yard line. Now they're going to deploy Michael Sendrick, a junior from Arlington, Texas, as a wide receiver to the near side. Bissell started in motion. Now it's a keeper. Payton cuts up off the right end, and he is gang tackled at the 23-yard line. They made it look, again, the fake, like they were going to go to Chansey, and OBU very disciplined, stayed home, and made it a short effort on that attempt for Preston Payton.
Let's go back to what you said about Josh for just a moment. When you have those kind of figures and you hear that and you're around the league, you go, oh, yeah, well, a little home cooking, except he made all of that on the road.
You're right. 12-12 to play here in the first half. It's 7-7. OBU has Harding in a third, and for them, somewhat long, 5. And the ball resting between the 23 and 24-yard line of the Bisons. Third down conversions today. Harding has been very good. They are 5 of 6. Bissell motions to the far side. They'll pitch to Taylor around the left end, and he's not going to get to the first down marker. OBU knocks him down at the 25-yard line, and that play was diagnosed perfectly by about 4 Bison.
How about Matt Norman, the cornerback? As Todd pointed out, great pursuit. Matt Norman was the finisher off, came out, did not let the running back get up the sideline, put his shoulder down, knocked him out of bounds.
4th down and 6, and for the first time today, we will see the punter, Cameron Scott, a senior from Frisco, Texas, who comes in ranked 9th in the Great American Conference in average net punting, trotted on for his first duty of the afternoon. He stands at the 11-yard line. Shea Garner awaits the return. Scott boots it away. Not a bad punt at all, and Garner waits for a fair catch and makes it to the 34-yard line. So a good effort on Cameron Scott's first punt of the afternoon. He averages about 36.5 yards per punt before that boot. That one went for 40, but again, good starting field position for Oklahoma Baptist.
Good starting field position is great from the 34, but Oklahoma Baptist actually started on Harding's side of the field the last time on that botched onside kick. Let's see if the Bison can put some more points out.
11-17 to play here in the first half. Our second quarter of action brought to you by the OBU College of Graduate and Professional Studies. Along with Scott Wattis, John Brooks, and John Zonlow, I'm Todd Miller. Third of 5 home games here at the Crane Family Stadium at Hurt Athletic Complex. Pistol formation. Hare drops to the 35. Pump fakes, throws, and he has a receiver for a first down. Julian Clark. The football came out. Did they blow it dead? We're going to have to see. It looks like they're going to call it a fumble. It occurred at the 48-yard line of Harding. And if OBU gets back on this, it's going to be critical because Julian Clark was the only OBU player amongst 4 defenders there to try and get it.
Yeah, it was Clark that recovered his own fumble. Beautiful pocket by the offensive line for Oklahoma Baptist, allowing Hare to step up and make that throw.
Julian Clark with his first reception of the afternoon. That one will go for 18. A first down as OBU moves into Harding's end of the field of the 48. Tight end Sam Sharp left. Single setback Stever. Back to throw Hare. Looking over the middle. Rolling right. Preston now is going to pump fake. He'll take what he can get. And he goes out of bounds inside the Bison's 45-yard line around the 44.
Tell you, Harding has no penetration coming up by the center and the guards. Defensive lineman Rolanski Doroti came all the way around the outside to flush Hare out.
Preston Hare, among the all-time greats, not only at OBU, but one of the top total offensive producers in the history of the league. Handoff on first down to Stever, breaking tackles, and he almost got a lot more as they jersey tackled him at the 40-yard line. So on 2nd and 7, he picks up 5, and it'll be 3rd down again for OBU.
Stever's such a strong runner. Like, if they didn't have that jersey, if it's a tearaway jersey, Stever's gone.
Tyler Stever now 3 carries for 5 yards. That was his longest run of the afternoon. Sharp motions, tight end right. The handoff to Stever coming left. Tyler keeping those big, strong legs moving. Able to get a first down to the 36. And Wandog, I'm going to tell you, that was all Tyler Stever. He was able to get cleanly to the end, but Harding had him stopped about a half-yard short of the first down marker.
They did, and he was real close to behind Zach Frazier, and he just went horizontal, then fell across the the line to gain.
Tough 4 yards for Stever. Fresh set of downs. Hare fakes the handoff, guns it over the middle for Sam Sharp, and he is tackled at the 30-yard line. That will go for 6. And a perfect throw by Preston Hare, and he was outran that time by Sam Sharp, who is becoming more and more of a reliable weapon of this OBU offense.
That's a good job. I like the way OBU is mixing it up. Run, pass, run, pass. It's keeping Harding off balance.
Under 9 minutes to play here with the first half. OBU on the march at a 7-7 game. Bison have nearly had the football. The time of possession, as always, squirreling in favor of Harding. Stever in the backfield. Keelan Harris, who has the touchdown catch on the board, starts the motion. Hare feels the pressure, circling all the way back to the 44. Throws near side. It's intercepted. Corey Battie was able to jump the route, and Battie is still on his feet, and he's finally tackled on the sideline nearest us at the 34-yard line of OBU. And that's just a perfect read by Corey Battie.
Yeah, ill-advised pass by Preston Hare. His first read, he had nowhere to go. By that time, the Harding pass rush was all over him, so he double pumped again, and he looked at Cornell's way on the out pattern. By that time, it was too late.
Was it Cornell or was it Marshall?
It was Cornell.
It was Cornell.
First and 10 for Harding at the OBU 34-yard line, so turnovers are now even at 1 apiece. 6:36 to play here in the first half. Make that 8:36 to play in the first half. And this very tough Harding offense is back out there trying to grab the first lead of the contest today for the Bisons. Townsend, who has the only reception today, that for 40 on a touchdown drive a moment ago, was split wide left. Now Payton will pitch for Zach Smith. He's hemmed into the backfield, and he's not going to get back to the line of scrimmage. He ran right into Malik Allen, and then Allen had some help from Matt Norman and a couple of other defenders as the play will go for a loss of 2 back to the 36.
Todd, you said it perfectly, hemmed in, and the reason why, because Trajan Lands was contained on the left side of the field, did not let the ball carrier get around him, got him hemmed in, the help came in, perfect discipline.
Tomlin is out. Jonah Liebeshak, the redshirt sophomore, 6'2", 240 across the defensive front out of Allen, Texas, is into the ball game. Second down and 12 for Harding at the 36-yard line. With 7:44 to play here with the first half, the game is tied at 7. They will option with Payton, cuts right, and he's drugged down. Nick Boone and Felipe Alvear were the ones that got him to the ground. He gets the 2 lost back of the previous play, bringing up third down and 10.
Just as we hit the halfway mark, 7:30 to go, second quarter.
Obviously, the Bisons are in 4-down territory, but you want to make that 4th down opportunity as difficult on this run-dominated offense as you can. And you have them right now behind the sticks at third down and 10 at the 34-yard line. Pretty good crowd here on hand for the third home game of the year on the OBU campus. 3rd and 10, back to throw. Payton has time, throws over the middle in traffic. It's tipped and incomplete. Maybe not the best decision in the world by Preston Payton, as I think he was looking for Roland Wallace, the redshirt freshman from Madisonville, Louisiana.
Looked like Tyler King got a hand on that football. That ball went straight up. Some Bison were scrambling to try to get the interception.
Guys, that's what they will do. They will run, and then they try to lull you asleep and hit you with a pass play. They've already done it once today. Believe it or not, that's just the second pass play of the day for Preston Payton, believe it or not.
And that's the only way Harding scored, is getting that 41-yarder to Townsend to set up that running touchdown.
Bison have them 4th down and 10. Harding on 4th down is yet to try today. For the season, they are 6 of 8. Those 8 tries, the most by any team in the Great American Conference, and we get a timeout on the field. 6:40 to play here in the first half. We're tied at 7. The second quarter is brought to you by the OBU College of Graduate and Professional Studies on the Bison Radio Network. That's the way he scored his first touchdown this afternoon, and he quickly gets 6 down to the 5-yard line.
I tell you, I think that was a design play where Payton gives himself up. The pitch man stops, and when he's being grabbed, looking like he's going down, just throws it up, and he gets it.
5:51 in county to play here with the first half. It's a 7-7 game, but 23rd-ranked Harding is on the march, deep in OBU's into the territory at the 6. Bassell motions to the far side. Now Payton will keep it. He cuts inside and is down to the 1. That should be enough for a 1st and goal to go. Park Parrish, the great quarterback for Harding of years past, is here. He is on the Harding call on the radio. Tell you what, I was glad to see him go upstairs and not back down to the field. 1st and goal to go. The ball was on the 1-yard line. Harding is that close to taking their first lead of the afternoon. As we're under 5.5 minutes now to play here with the first quarter. Next week, it is the first of back-to-back road games for OBU. A 2 o'clock kickoff in Russellville against Arkansas Tech. Motion man to the near side. Hand off to Chansey again. He stays low and he's in for the touchdown. Went right behind Austin Tolar, the guard.
Big plays by Harding University. That huge 4th down play allowed them to finish off this drive, and then, of course, that really big pass to Townsend on the other scoring drive.
So 2 of the 3 touchdowns in his first half, one by each school, has been set up thanks to turnovers. One a fumble by Harding and the 4th pick of the year against Preston Hare. Here is Ennis on for the extra point, and it is good. 5:10 to play here with the first half, and pump the brakes. There's a flag down. Harding is walking off the field, so it may be offsides against Oklahoma Baptist. Ron Roan is our lead official today, the Whitecap, for this Great American Conference matchup. And indeed, it is offsides, Oklahoma Baptist, so Harding will decline. 14-7 Bisons with 5:10 to play here with the first half. Back to Shawnee in a moment after these messages for the OBU College of Graduate and Professional Studies. Seven plays, 34 yards, the drive. 14-7 Harding. They have their first advantage of the afternoon. Cameron Scott is actually the kickoff man, not Grant Ennis. So Cameron Scott will boot it away for a second time here in the first half. And here is the left to right boot. This should be returned. Nope, Harris will let it hit the goal line and skip through the back end zone.
Now, right then, there was a chance for Keelan to step back and catch that, and poor Scotty over here was starting to maneuver because he thinks anytime the ball's in the air and Keelan has a chance to touch it, he should return it.
I love the electricity that Keelan Harris brings. Just get the ball in his hands, good things are going to happen, especially, John, on that kickoff was a low liner.
Yeah. He had a shot.
So it takes longer for the coverage team to get down.
Harris is number one of the Great American Conference in kickoff return yards and all-purpose yards this season, better than 170 yards. Handoff on first down goes to Reuben Thompson. He bangs off a defender and gets a couple from the 25 to the 27, and that was a hard-fought 2 yards for Reuben Thompson, as it appears that Patrick Healy may have been the last one up off the pile for Harding.
You know, Todd, this is a big set of downs right here. You need to move the chains at least once here. You don't want to get the ball back in their hands on a quick 3 and out. This is important 2 snaps coming up.
Wide receivers left and right. The tight end is Seth Berry. Motions to the far side. Hare drops, gets a block. He'll roll right. Preston is being stretched out, throws as he was hit, and throws it out of bounds into the Harding sideline. And he was really being pressured that time by Shedrick Robinson, the linebacker with the inside for the Bisons.
Yeah, Robinson came in untouched, and he was a problem for him really before he got out of the pocket.
That was the exact same play, the run option for Hare, looking for Harris up the sideline, but Harding stayed home and covered Harris on the play.
3rd down and 8. Line of scrimmage for Oklahoma Baptist at their own 27-yard line. A 4-by-1 set this time for Preston Harry. Drops inside his 20, steps out, slings it over the middle, and the ball's caught. Keelan Harris a first down as he's out of bounds at the 40-yard line of the Bison. That was a little drag play, Scott, and it worked perfectly.
Needed a lot of time. Kudos to the offensive line. But look at Keelan Harris. He just outran defensive back Lionel Masivi right there on that drag pattern.
OBU with a huge 3rd down conversion.
Moving the chains right then is just absolutely huge with 4 minutes to go and trying to get back in it here.
1 of 2 on 3rd downs now is OBU, and that was a huge one. 2-by-2 set. In the backfield is Thompson. Back to throw his hair. Steps up, guns it over the middle. The ball tipped, and it's intercepted. Intercepted to the 45, returned to midfield to the 40, down the middle of the field to the 30, and he's tackled inside the 25-yard line.
Wow, Braden Phipps was open on that play. That pass was underthrown by Hare, and the defender just got his hand on the ball to tip that ball up.
Was it Javarius Woods? Was that 21 that intercepted?
28.
It was 28, so that's Oric Walker Jr., who gets his first pick of the season, and Hare now has thrown 2 today, and Harding has another short field to work with, leading 14-7.
Well, it's in the books as 2 picks today. That's not on Hare, that one. And the other one was very, very close. So it's oftentimes you see these interceptions and you think, oh, well, the guy's having a bad game. In both cases here, Hare can't be completely. Now, on the first one, maybe a little bit, but not really on that one.
1st down and 10, Harding at the Oklahoma Baptist 23-yard line. And now they're going to change out of the play as they have 3:42 to work with. Already up 14-7 as Harding trying to build on their first lead of the afternoon. Basell motions. They hand it off to Chancey, and he's hit and dropped immediately by Josh Arnold, who gets up and says, no, 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 that's not going to happen today. 2nd and 10 as Chancey's stopped at his tracks.
Now, there are 2 GAC guys right there, right? You got Arnold against Chancey. 2 of the very, very best at their positions in the league. In fact, some would say the very best at their position.
Yeah, you will see them in the end-of-the-year awards, both on the first team of the all-conference squad. Chancey is an all-time great at Harding. He's an all-time great in the history of this league. Cole the single setback. They toss it around the right end to Sinclair. Omar is hit. Didn't get much. Dropped at the 22, so again it's 3rd down and long. And Will Coleman, who was our guest on the pregame show, came up to make the stop from safety. So it's 3rd down and 9. By the time Harding snaps it next, we should be under 2.5 minutes to play here in the first half. 14-7 Bisons over the homestanding Bison of Oklahoma Baptist. Harding 5-0 all-time against OBU on the gridiron. OBU soccer incidentally lost today, 1-0 in a shootout. Not a shootout, but a really good game at home against Ouachita Baptist. 3rd down and 9. They fake it to Chancey. Now they pitch it around the right end for Sinclair, and he is going nowhere. Managed to pick up 2. How about the discipline of the part of OBU defensively?
Well, we saw it just moments ago. 4th down and a play that kind of stunned everybody when it looked like it might be a fumble, maybe a design pitch at the last moment, and was a long gain. But this time, they're going to try to get 3 out of it.
Ennis will attempt for the right hash a 37-yard field goal with a snap coming back from Enoch Williams. His longest, Grant Ennis, is 51 this year, so he's got plenty of leg. Snap back, the ball is down. Ennis one-step approach, it's on the way, and it is good. So Grant Ennis bangs through a 3-pointer. 1:32 to go here in the first half. It's now 17-7 Harding. We owe you a local break, and we'll take it now on the Bison Radio Network. How far did I say that was?
It was
37, I think.
37?
No, yeah.
Somewhat of a win for OBU. They hold it to 3, trail 17-7. Here is Scott's kickoff, and it will go out of the reach of Keelan Scott. OBU will have it at the 25-yard line. The Bison have 3 timeouts left and 1:32 in which to work with, so you would think the possibility is there, Brooksy, to at least get that 3 points back.
I'd like to think in terms of getting more than the 3 back, quite frankly. Yeah, I know people are disappointed right now, and we've seen something we haven't seen in quite a while, and that would be 2 picks in the stat column for Preston Hare. But again, this offense has come very, very close to breaking some things, just like on that pass. If that pass is corralled and taken, you've got the chains moving.
1st and 10 at the 25-yard line. Tyler Stevers back out there. That's actually Reuben Thompson. They'll throw it out left. Cordell with a catch at the 28, and he is tackled immediately. After a minimal gain, Corey Battie, who had an interception to set up a touchdown for Harding, came up from quarter to make the stop. The gain goes to the 29, so it's 2nd down and 6. Clock continuing to wind with 70 seconds to play in the half. Hare to throw on 2nd down, throws it out left, and it's caught. Keelan Harris out of bounds. And this time he is hit immediately by Shedrick Robinson and got out of bounds to stop the clock at the 36-yard line.
And they moved the chains as he was about a yard past what he needed.
2 receivers left and right. Reuben Thompson, the single setback. Hare claps his hands, gets the snap from Ryder Roberts. Moving right. Preston Hare under duress. Throws across the way. The receiver made the catch, but he slipped. I think that was Julian Clark on the far side boundary that made the reception at the 41-yard line. And now the Bison will have to spend one of the 3 complimentary timeouts here for the first half. A decent game, though, Brooks. It didn't look like it went for much, but that's 5 on 1st down.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he did Preston did a nice job that time. I didn't think he was going to. I didn't think he was going to connect with him.
Yes, Whataburger's honey barbecue chicken strip sandwich. It's just so, it's almost too hard to put into words. Good thing there's the honey barbecue chicken strip sandwich at Whataburger.
Care needs of Shawnee and its surrounding communities. We're known for providing exceptional care and offering the latest advances in medical services. Fans, don't forget you can show your OBU spirit and rep career with officially licensed Bison apparel from shopobubison.com. Shopobubison.com is the official online store of OBU Athletics and the only place online to purchase OBU apparel, accessories, gifts, and much more with purchases benefiting Bison Athletics. And I can tell you, my wife and I shop obubison.com quite frequently.
Yes, you do, yeah. Do you own any other apparel?
No.
I didn't think so. Okay.
Nobody else pays me to wear their apparel.
Well, there you go.
2nd down and 5 at the 41. Thompson motions to the near side. They throw it out for Reuben. The ball is deflected and knocked down incomplete. And let's see who that was. I think it was Caden.
I'm trying to find it.
It said 41.
41, yeah.
41 is Caden Pierce, who's listed as a running back on the roster. I'm certain that's right, so it's 3rd down and 5 at the 41. 47 seconds to play. The clock stops on the incompleted pass. 2 receivers split short right, 3 wide to the press box side. Back to throw, Preston Hare. Pocket holds. He's going to go deep. He has a receiver, and he just overthrew him, incomplete.
Clark.
Julian Clark was the intended target, so that will bring up 4th down and 5 at the 41-yard line with 40 seconds to play, and that, Brooksy, is a really disappointing end offensively to the first half.
Well, nothing has been very pretty since the beauty of the 4-play opening drive, where on 4 snaps, 1 yard on the ground and 7 through the air, including the cross country to Keelan Harris, and the offense has not put up anything since then.
On the punt is McCassin, and it's blocked. It's rolling inside the 10. It's going to be scooped up at the 5 and returned for the touchdown. It was returned by Cooper Carroll, a sophomore defensive back, number 33. And that will be a 5-yard blocked punt return. And just like that, the worst thing in the world that could happen going to halftime has occurred. Essentially another turnover, and it's now 23-7 Harding.
Well, you can feel the air. It just all disappeared. went out the south end of the end zone. That's just like sucking it out of the entire stadium.
Grant Ennis on for the point after try. And the ball was down, and Ennis remains perfect in extra points for the season. So with 32 seconds to play in the first half, it is now Harding 24, Oklahoma Baptist 7. And Scott, that was absolutely the worst thing that you could have ever imagined.
No doubt about it, but Paul Simmons has his team ready all the time. You could see that set up earlier on the other punts where they kind of sent one guy into that three-man preserve there that OBU has to block in front of the punter. That time they got 5 guys through somehow, 5 on 3, and then you get the block.
OBU still one dog having some problems in special teams, and we are in week 5. They've cleaned a lot of things up, but that was a huge mistake late.
Very, very much so. I think the punter, McCaskill, got a little bit relaxed there, not really feeling the heat that was coming.
So just like that, it is 24-7 with 32 seconds to play here in the first half. Harding will be home next week. Oklahoma Baptist will be in the natural state at 2 o'clock kickoff in Russellville against Arkansas Tech. And then 2 weeks from today, it's another night game down in Ada against East Central. The schedule going to get more difficult for this team as we go forward. Dates with Southeastern, with Henderson State, still remain, as well as Southern Arkansas on the schedule. Here is Cameron Scott's kick. Keelan Harris may return this from the 2. He will. Keelan to the 10, dodges defenders, gets to the 15, and is struggling to get to the 20. He won't quite get there. They're going to tackle him around the 18-yard line with 25 seconds to play in the first half. I saw that mark. What are we up to, Brooksy?
It's your greatest game ever.
I think it was 22. It's like 22.
Well, leave it at that. I'm going to mention it at halftime during the break.
First down and 10 at the 18-yard line with 25 seconds to play here in the first half. If you're Chris Jensen, do you try to get cute or do you just settle for a 17-point deficit at the halftime locker room?
I think you step back and throw a Hail Mary.
Okay. Hare with Thompson in the backfield, throws it out left. Shea Garner makes the catch behind the line of scrimmage, and he's tackled immediately as he stretches out to the 20. Clock under 15 seconds now to play here in the first half. Cade Hugh, the junior from Helena, Arkansas, at strong safety, was the one that made that last tackle. OBU does not appear as if they're in any hurry. Snap the football again. That's the way the half will end. So we have played 30 minutes of football. It was 7-0 OBU. Harding has taken control of the game with their defense, 2 turnovers, and a blocked punt that resulted in a touchdown. And at halftime, it's now 24-7. The Bisons will get down to Scott Waters with Greg Goffin.
Hey, Coach, that first touchdown for Oklahoma Baptist, what a great design play. Preston Hare is an option run pass. When Hare runs out, putting the defense up, Keelan Harris just snuck in behind.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a great job by our coach staff getting that thing brought up. And, really, things have worked like we anticipated. Just got to take care of football. It's just the difference in the game is simply the basis of football. It ain't anything else. Blocking, tackling, ball security.
And you got ahead of a team that just runs the ball, runs the clock out. They took up 9 minutes in that first drive that they had, but you got on top of them early. Now that's going to make it limited for you to run the ball.
We can't press. Defense are playing well. We just put them behind the ball more than once. And, again, it's just take care of the football. One play at a time, we'll be fine.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Greg Gothard, who missed last week's trip to Weatherford with COVID, visiting with Scott Wadash down to the field. Greg is exactly right, Brooksy. The first half, Harding has dominated time of possession. They have taken 36 snaps to 19 for OBU, and yet the Bison defense has held up well, just 160 total yards.
Well, I think, I've already said it once. I'm going to say it again. Preston Hare has 2 interceptions. It's quite possible that had you been able to get just a little bit more glue on your hands as a receiver, he would not have any. The point is, it has happened. And again, we go back to what we have talked about on the pregame show. When you've never beaten a team, and this is a nationally ranked team, and you're trying to get over that last hump to really get among the elite, things like that can happen. It will be a very difficult second half. The only good thing that you can say right now is that the Bison get the ball to start the second half.
Bison fans, we're located just less than 5 minutes from Bison Hill. Hampton Inn Shawnee will offer you a free breakfast and exclusive OBU visitors discount. Call and reserve your room today for 15% off your next stay. Coming up next, it's the McIntyre Law first half review. At the break, 23rd ranked Harding leads Oklahoma Baptist 23-7. This is Bison football on the OBU Radio Network. Time, 23rd ranked Harding leads Oklahoma Baptist 24-7. Preston Hare got the scoring started in the first half, a 57-yard touchdown pass to Keelan Harris. For Preston Hare, that was his 84th career touchdown pass here on Bison Hill. It also means he now has thrown at least one touchdown in 20 consecutive games and 35 of 38 career starts here at OBU. GG booted through the extra point. It was 7-0. That possession was set up on a fumble that was recovered by OBU. And the time of the drive was 4 plays, 72 yards, in just 69 seconds. And that came with 4:50 to play in the first quarter. All the rest of the scoring belonged to Harding. All of it came in the second quarter. Cole Chansey became the third active NCAA Division II player to have 50 career rushing touchdowns. That one, number 50 from 6 yards out, capping a 9-play, 75-yard drive in 4 minutes and 54 seconds. The extra point by Grant Ennis tied it at 7. Chansey then scored his 51st career rushing touchdown with 5:10 to go before the break to give Harding the first lead for the Bisons today on a 1-yard rush. That was set up by an OBU interception. 7 plays, 34 yards. The time of the drive, 3 minutes and 22 seconds. It was 14-7. Grant Ennis, after OBU broke down again, booted through a 37-yard field goal, capping a 4-play, 3-yard drive in 2 minutes and 10 seconds. 17-7 was the score. And then Carroll returns a blocked punt. They officially scored it 20 yards. It was picked up at the 5. So Carroll with a 20-yard blocked punt return for a score right before halftime. And that made it where it is at halftime, 24-7. We told you Preston now has a touchdown pass in 20 straight games. For Harding, that was their first return of a blocked punt since 2012. It's also the second time in the last two meetings that Harding has managed a special teams touchdown against OBU. Corey Battie was able to return a blocked extra point back here in October of 2019 for a score for Harding. So special teams playing a role in the first half for the Bisons as they lead by 17, 24-7. Stay tuned. Brooksy's back with a look at the first half numbers. We'll get you some scores from around the conference and much more. We are at halftime. It's 24-7 Harding. This is OBU football on the Bison Radio Network.
Last week to Harding that ended that 30-game winning streak are taking it out on Northwestern. Rangers had to go there probably knowing that this was going to happen. Washita in the fourth easily with the lead 56-17. Arkansas Tech in the third at Southern Nazarene has SNU more than doubled up. It's 44-21. Henderson State on the road at Southeastern State. 38 seconds before halftime, they have a touchdown lead at 21-14. With 8:27 to go in the second quarter, Southwestern, looking for their first win, have an 8-0 lead on the road at Arkansas Monticello. And East Central at home, midway through the second period, they're in front of Southern Arkansas 14-6. It's interesting because of the way a game goes quickly when Harding's on the field, no matter who the opponent. These scores come with 38 seconds before halftime for one game, 8:27 to go in the second for another, halfway through the second in another, and the other two games kicked off earlier, so this one's already at halftime. It just shows you the way that games move quickly because the ball is on the ground, it's on the ground, and it's always on the ground for Harding, and they continue to be an excellent program, and of course came in ranked number 23rd in the nation in Division II. But in the first half of play, they had 37 snaps. One of them was a 40-yard pass that kept a drive going that got the tying touchdown after the early lead by OBU. And they've never thrown the ball again, haven't had to. They've had 36 snaps of the football. They have 160 yards rushing. But when you go to the rushing sheet, you'll see Cole Chansey with 36, Taylor Bissell with 33, quarterback Preston Payton with 31, and running back Omar Sinclair, 21. So it is a well-balanced, methodical attack that Harding has lived on for years, and they're living on again today. Over on the other side for OBU, obviously the two interceptions off of Preston Hare have been staggering. They have led the points, 3 points and 7 points. The block punt, of course, is devastating, and what looked like an excellent chance for OBU to stay in the game with Harding has now put OBU in a situation where an offense that literally just pretty well bogged down after the first drive. I mean, there were 72 yards of offense on the first drive for OBU, and they have gotten 73 yards on all of the subsequent possessions the rest of the second half. What this leads to is this. They're going to get the football to start the second half of play. They're going to need to score. Before we continue any more on our recap here at halftime, let's pause 10 seconds for stations to identify themselves across the OBU Football Network. Remember, if you go to them, they'll review all of the facts, and then they'll let you know if they can do for you what they have done for thousands and thousands of people, and that is to take care of problems you've had when it comes to injury and different claims. Please, if you're in that situation, you go to the people who are trial lawyers and know what they need to do for you, and that is McIntyre Law. Our McIntyre review at halftime continues in a moment, right after these messages. Individually, Harding's Cole Chansey, 13 carries for 36 yards, but Bassell, Payton, and Sinclair all just within a handful of yards behind. A very balanced running attack. Tyler Stever, 4 carries for 14. Preston Hare through the air for OBU, 11 of 17, been picked off twice on deflected balls, 126 yards, has the 57-yard touchdown throw. Preston Payton through the air has, of course, thrown only 2 passes, completing one of those for 40 yards. So I said actually 37 snaps. There were 38 snaps in the first half, 36 of them on the ground for Harding. Cameron Scott, 1 punt for 41 for Harding. Ethan McKisson had the 25-yard punt, and then, of course, he had the punt that was blocked that led to the touchdown with just 32 seconds to go here in the first half of play. Top tacklers on the field, Matthew Norman on the OBU side with 6, Will Coleman with 5, Brandon Spencer and Felipe Alvier each with 4. We have reached the halfway mark, and now getting close as some of the skilled people are already back out of the dressing room for OBU. OBU will be receiving the football, and having fallen behind after a 7-7 tie, and then the field goal that gave the visitors a 10-7 lead, and then the touchdown, of course, on the block punt, and you've got the situation now where the Bison are staring at a 17-point deficit. They need to get something going on this opening drive of the third quarter. We'll be back with some other final notes here on our halftime show when we continue. We're going to take now a 2-minute local break. Be back in just a moment. defensive coordinator. So let's get down to the field. Standing by is Scott Wanish. We're ready for you, Scott. We're ready for you.
Here, Coach Morris, you talk about every team needs to be disciplined against Harding with this terrible option. I mean terrible by there's so many options that they have, and if somebody doesn't do their correct job, then it's busted. But there's 2 turnovers, a special teams touchdown. You guys really held up pretty well.
You know, we got to keep playing disciplined football. You know, our offense to get it turned on. Those guys are great athletes, and they're great at what they do. Us on defense, we got to make sure we keep securing tackles, limit the big plays, right, make them grind it out, and keep our eyes disciplined on their key and their responsibility.
You know, coming into this game, Harding's only attempted 16 passes. But because of your run defense, making it a little hard for them to earn their first downs, they threw that 40-yard pass on you.
Yes, sir. TK was in good position. They made a really good play. And again, this whole game comes down to having great eye discipline, right? Triggering on your key and making sure your eyes don't get lost in the wash. And that's what they do, man. They grind it out, run after run after run, and they try and sneak a pass in there. Again, just got to play disciplined football.
Harding used up 9 minutes on their first drive. You guys are down 17. Going to have a turnover.
Yep. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Again, disciplined football, make them have to run play after play, get some tackles for loss, and get them behind the sticks and force those passing situations. And we'll claw ourselves back in this game.
Thanks, Brandon.
Thank you.
All right, very quickly around the rest of the league one more time before we take our final break, before the second half kickoff. Ouachita coasting 56-17 over Northwestern in the fourth quarter. Arkansas Tech on the road at Southern Nazarene in the third, doubling them up at 44-21. Late in the first half, it was Henderson at Southeastern Oklahoma State with a 21-14 lead. Southwestern midway through the second quarter was up 8-0 at Arkansas Monticello, and midway through the second, East Central at home had a 14-6 lead over Southern Arkansas. That's our McIntyre Law halftime review. We're coming back in 60 seconds. Get ready for the start of the second half. Bison will have the ball, and OBU trailing Harding by a count of 24-7 on the OBU Football Network. Where is my boy? Oh, here he comes. Very casually.
We got one more break. Brooksy, we got one more break.
One more break? No, we're back. Hey, that's the agency. Gave you plenty of time, big guy.
Bison trail it at halftime to 23rd ranked Harding in Shawnee, 24-7. The good news is Oklahoma Baptist will have a chance to reestablish some momentum from early in the game. They'll get the first possession here of the second half. Let's go downstairs and Scott Wanish and defensive coordinator Brandon Morris.
No, we've already had him.
Oh, we have?
Yeah.
Okay.
We did.
Okay, I wanted to talk to him again.
You know what? I don't think he wants to talk right now.
I thought his defense played really well.
No, he did. And listen, they talked about that. Todd, he was not upset. I don't think he was upset at all. I think he thought the defense did play well. I mean, there was the one comment about the 40-yard pass and everything, but come on. I mean, those things are going to happen. And no, they played good. You take away the turnovers and the block punt and everything's different. You can't take them away. But when those things happen, you've got to be very, very candid. This defense played pretty good.
I think it's one of the best, if not the best, first halves defensively they played this year.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, Bison Radio Network is presented in part by McIntyre Law with over $200 million in compensation, one for their clients. OBU alumnus Noble McIntyre and his team are ready to help you. If you've been injured and need an experienced attorney, learn more at McIntyre Law.
You know, we talk about the network, and we will again welcome 98.5 El Patron, Oklahoma City, to our network, along with Oklahoma City affiliate 1340 AM The Game, and of course 98.5 FM Norman, El Patron, The Jet in Tulsa at 93.5 FM, in Bartlesville, KPGM AM 1500 on the AM dial, and in Pawhuska, KPGM 99.1 FM on the dial. And that, of course, is followed by our good friends here locally, Shawnee and Seminole, KGFF, the longtime leader, AM 1450.
Cameron Scott will place the ball on the tee. Harding won the pregame coin toss. They said, we want the football, and they nearly went the length of the field before cocking it up. That led to OBU's first score, their only score of the first half. Matt Norman and Keelan Harris. Speed set to return the kickoff if Scott does not get it into the end zone. Here we go, second half underway from Shawnee. Harris is going to wave for a fair catch. He'll make it a yard deep into the end zone, and it will be first down and 10 at the 25-yard line for OBU. Again, Lincoln Adams, the injured center, listening to our broadcast today. Don't know if he heard our shout-out earlier, but we want to say it again. Lincoln, our thoughts and prayers are with you as you continue to battle that injury you suffered in week one, and know that your football career is over, but you will be back and better than ever for life, I can assure you. 15 minutes to play, third quarter, first possession of the second half at the 25-yard line. Preston Hare in the first half was 11 of 17 passing, a touchdown and 145. First play of the second half, a handoff straight ahead to Tyler Stevert. He's wrestled down by Patrick Healy, the defensive tackle. No gain, second down upcoming. 14:40 to play here in the third quarter. The problem is when you get down 3 scores against this team, you just don't have as many opportunities as you normally do in a regular football game. Motion man to the near side is Cordell. They fake the jet sweep, fake the handoff to Stever. They throw it out in the flat for Josh. It's caught, not much. He'll pick up 2 to the 27-yard line and hit immediately and dropped by Ahmad Butler.
Well, there was no place else that time, Todd, that Preston was going to go because everybody else was covered. That was definitely his only option.
Harding has a ton of speed out there on defense, and they showed it right there. It looked like there might be something, but nowhere to go for Josh Cornell, who's been held in check this week. 3 receivers left. Single receiver to the near side is Michael Marshall. Single setback is Tyler Stever. OBU desperately needs to convert here for their own 27. Hare under duress is in trouble, and he's going to be sacked. He was tripped up from behind by Dre Hall, the backup defensive end out of Spring, Texas. And OBU gains 1 yard on their first possession here in the second half.
I tell you, if Preston Hare can get away from that tackle, nothing but green and white lines in front of him.
Deep to receive the punt is going to be Corey Battie. He has returned 4 this year for an average of less than a yard. OBU themselves does not have a punt return of the season. We're 4.5 weeks into the campaign. Ethan McCassin on in punt formation at his own 10. Here comes the pressure. They almost got it again. High punt. Battie from the 30 sets to return. Now goes backwards, breaks a tackle, gets up to the 29, and that's where he's gang tackled by OBU. And that's terrific punt coverage by the Bison. One of the first down there was Tyler King.
Harding tried the block again, and what they did, they let the first rusher go into that 3-man protector against the punter, try to open the hole. Then wide receiver Jake Matting followed through that hole, was just a hair late.
13:02 to play here in the third quarter. 24-7 our score. It's what it was at halftime. OBU went 3 and out and netted 1 yard on their first offensive series here in the second half.
Well, here's the stop that Brandon Morris was talking about at halftime. It's going to happen right here.
You made the good point, though, earlier, and that is, Todd, when you get 17 points behind this team, you know what's going to happen. They're going to try to get 6-7 minutes off the clock on you with just a methodical drive. And if they do that, it just limits the opportunities, so many, and it basically says you almost have to be perfect on all your possessions to come back from 17 down.
And they've already squandered one opportunity here in the second half. Third quarter brought to you by Noble McIntyre and McIntyre Law. First down and 10 for Preston Payton and company. Payton, the all-time winning quarterback as a starter at Harding, 22-7 in 29 career starts. He has 2 pass attempts today. He now is up to 90 for his career. First play from scrimmage is a handoff to Cole Chansey. He gets maybe 2 as he is tackled on the 31-yard line. Second down and long upcoming for the Bisons as we have played not quite 3 minutes here of the third quarter.
You know, slipped into what you just said is a statistic that tells you exactly what this is all about. In his career, when you do the math, he's averaged 3 passes a game.
Second and 8, Bisons at their own 31-yard line with 12 and a half minutes to play third quarter. Harding leading 24-7 here on the Bison Radio Network. 2 slot backs, single set back is Chansey. They motion Sinclair to the far side, back to throw Payton. He throws and it's dropped. Taylor Bissell had his hands on it. He was open at midfield, and fortunately for OBU, he just dropped it, and that will bring up 3rd and 8.
Will Coleman looked like he was right there with the receiver. I thought Coleman was going to jump that for a pick 6. Instead, he went horizontal with the receiver, and the receiver just dropped the ball.
Boy, this is huge, guys. 3rd down for Harding. You need to get off the field. Harding was 6 of 9 on 3rd down tries in the first half, and they possessed the football, did the Bisons, for 21 minutes and 45 seconds in the first 30 minutes of this game. 3rd and 8 at the 31-yard line. They need to get to the 39. Payton now will option right. He cuts inside. He will not get there as he's tackled at the 35-yard line. A gain of 4. Robert Lolafie was the one that made the tackle.
Yeah, Lolafie stepped around the guard, in between the guard and the tackle, got in the backfield.
So Harding about to punt for the second time. Cameron Scott in the first half punted once for an average of 41. Shea Garner will be back to receive the punt. Garner has yet to return a punt this season. A lot of fair catches. By the time Harding snaps this, we should be around 11 and a half minutes to play here in the third quarter.
They were short a man. They had to hustle somebody out.
They did. Here comes the snap back. They'll snap it with 1. Scott steps a leg into it, and a good spiraling punt to the far side, and Garner waits for a fair catch. He'll make it at the 25-yard line. So a 40-yard punt that time for Cameron Scott, and he has averaged better in 2 punts today than he has coming in, but he's been an outstanding punter. His career average in 73 punts as a Bison punter is 42.9 yards per punt.
And that was in the wind that time. I tell you, down there at halftime, that wind's coming out of the north has picked up a good 8 miles per hour.
Timeout on the field. We are early in the third quarter. Harding leads Oklahoma Baptist 24-7. The third quarter brought to you by Noble McIntyre, McIntyre Law on the Bison Radio Network.
Z-Man, if we're short here, you can run that graphic in the next break, and it looks like we might be, okay? Yeah, well, let's plan to run it in the next break. Okay.
Not certain if Tyler Stever is a little bit off today, a little bit shaken up. We've not seen him a whole lot. He was out there for the first series. He's not out for the second. Reuben Thompson is the setback on 1st and 10 for the Bison at their own 25-yard line. Hare on a high snap, guns it out left. Josh Cordell makes the catch and turns upfield to the 30. He'll get 5, and that will bring up second down. And, guys, there may come a time and point where you just have to use that intermittent short passing game like a run game.
Yeah, Cornell went out of bounds there. The clock kept on running. That's what would help OBU on those 5-yard outs.
Preston Hare didn't expect the snap, and he has to go back and fall on it at the 15-yard line. And that is probably the first time all year long that we've seen problems between Ryder Roberts, who did not start the opener, now making his 4th straight start, and Preston Hare. So a loss of 15 brings up 3rd down and 20 with 10.5 minutes to play here in the third quarter. Hare with a single setback, drops to the 5-yard line. Preston has time, guns it over the middle, and the ball is caught. A one-handed catch. Michael Marshall into Harding territory. And how about not only the catch, but the throw right over the defender from Preston Hare.
Excellent throw by Preston Hare, arcing over the defense on the post play, one-handed falling down.
39 yards of the catch on 3rd and long. Preston throws it out left for Reuben Thompson. He turns upfield and is hit at the 42-yard line. There'll be a gain of 4 as the clock continues to wind with 9:50 to play here in the third quarter. OBU on the march.
Hey, that's the kind of plays that Oklahoma Baptist has to make to stay in the game. They've got some momentum going. Just keep it going, Bison.
Company. Thompson remains out there as the single setback. He drops to midfield. Preston throws it out left. Ball is caught. Harris a first down at the 35-yard line, and he's danced out of bounds in front of the Harding bench.
I've been on a mission, boys, so I'm on the mission. I missed the play, so I wish I could hear the replay right now on what happened, because we're trying to check on Tyler Stever, and he is on the sidelines, but he has not been in the last 2 series.
First down and 10 to the 35-yard line. Thompson is the single setback. Preston Hare drops to the 44 of Harding, throws it over the middle. It's Cordell. Jitterbugs a tackler at the 30, and then is rolled down at the 26-yard line. He got 9 on first down. And for the real first time today on a sustained drive, OBU's offense looks in sync.
No huddle. Oklahoma Baptist has Harding's defense out of sync a little bit, throwing deep, throwing short, just that great balance, maybe mix in a run here.
This rhythm started after a bad snap by Roberts to Hare, who didn't expect it, and then Hare a terrific throw and an even better catch by Michael Marshall to get him out of 3rd and 20 back at their own 15-yard line. 7th play of the OBU drive coming up. They're just outside the red zone of the 26 of Harding. 3rd and a yard, or 2nd and a yard. Hare will throw it out left. Garner with the catch. Garner is hit immediately. He stayed on his feet. He got away from Cade Hugh, who tried to roll him down, and he only get 2, but enough to move the sticks. And I don't know, without the second effort, if they do get the first down.
I think he didn't make it if he doesn't get that second effort. Spun around, and then he gets out of bounds and stops the clock, which we know is so valuable against Harding.
1st and 10, OBU at the 24-yard line. Marshall back, motions to the far side, back to throw his Hare, dancing. He's in trouble, and they're going to sack him. They'll get him back to the 28-yard line, and just not much time at all for Preston Hare.
Boy, if Preston Hare could have had just a split more second or just let that ball go to the back of the end zone, Keelan Harris had 2 steps on the safety.
7:40 to play third quarter, 24-7 Harding. OBU on the march. They're at the 27 of the Bisons. They'll empty the backfield. Reuben Thompson to the near side. Hare drops to the 35, throws over the middle. The ball's through the hands of Shea Garner. Well, you got to make that catch, Shea, at the 17. Now you're way behind the sticks at 3rd and 17.
Now, that pass was thrown behind Garner, but you're right, Todd. He's got to make that catch. And the reason why it was thrown behind him, the passing lane, Preston Hare had to throw between 2 defensive linemen. There's no way he could have thrown it to lead him there.
Preston is 12 of 18 passing for 128 yards. He was held to less than 170 last week at Southwestern. 3rd and long. Preston again throws. Floats one down the middle of the field, and it's incomplete. Julian Clark had separation of the corner. Ahmad Butler, but he made a turn inside it and had to try to adjust back to the boundary.
Julian Clark juked Ahmad Butler so bad that Butler grabbed his jersey, and then Clark turned to the outside toward the flag, and a little bit of a mix-up there where Hare wanted him to go.
Clock stops, 7:16 to play here in the third quarter, and they may be going to bring on the field goal unit, it would appear, as Guillermo Garcia will be trotted on for a career-long 40-yard attempt. He is made from 25 and 36 this year.
35.
The freshman from Dickinson, Texas, will attempt a 45-yard field goal for the left hash. Good snap, ball down, kick is on the way. It's got plenty of leg, and he missed it to the left. No good.
Well, you've got the crosswind. It's not much, but it is from the west to the east. I didn't miss a lot, but once it got up in that wind, you could just see it hooking off to the left. You're right. He had plenty of leg on it, but it drifts wide, and it remains a 17-point deficit. And, you know, as disappointing as this is, that you come out with nothing, there was a bit of a spark, and if the defense can hold and get the ball back again, you kind of get that feeling that maybe the offense might be able to light the fire a little bit.
Harding will take over at the 27-yard line of their own end of the field with the missed field goal, the first career miss for Gigi. It remains 24-7 Bisons. Under center is Preston Payton. He'll hand off to Chancey, and he's stopped near the 30. He'll gain about 2.5 yards. Second down upcoming for the Bisons.
That time Oklahoma Baptist in a four-man front. Lola Fia, the first man there with help from Elijah Tomlin.
One dog, that was something OBU did last week really well, and that was to mix up the 3- and 4-man fronts.
Yes, and it worked in the first quarter a little bit. Now, Harding moved the ball, but it was very methodical, and that really makes it hard for offensive assignments when the defenses switch formations over and over.
Under 6.5 to play in the third quarter. It's second down at 8 at the 29 for the Bisons. OBU showing some pressure. Here they come. They hand it to Chancey. No, it's a fake as they pitch it around the left side of Basel, and it's read perfectly by Trajan Lance, who tackles him for a gain to a loss back to the 28. It's going to bring up third down at about 10.
Well, I tell you, Oklahoma Baptist, Brandon Morris lit a fire into the defense at halftime. Not that the defense was playing poorly, but they're really stopping Harding.
3rd and 8 as they gave him back to the original line of scrimmage, the 29-yard line, but still a great play turned in by the former Titan from Carl Albert High School in Midwest City, Trajan Lance. 3rd down and 8. Harding 6 of 9 on third downs in the first half. They're 60% today, but 0 of 1 in the second half. Under center is Preston Payton. Payton hands it off to Chancey. There's a hole up the middle, and he's all the way to the 40, picking up 11, and a refresher of the markers across the way.
Wow, 3rd and long. That was just a simple dive off tackle right. Plenty of push, plenty of lead blockers for Harding for the first down.
And his biggest gain of the game, his previous had been 8 in the first half. He gets 11.
Lee Bishak is back out there on that defensive front. 1st and 10, Harding Bisons at their 40-yard line. And they will take this clock down around 5 minutes to go in the third quarter before they snap it again. Preston Payton with 2 split very short off each side of the line of scrimmage. Again, it's Chancey. He spun down at the 49-yard line of OBU.
Brandon Spencer with the tackle diving down below the legs to undercut the runner.
So a gain of 7 brings up second down at 7. It's actually at the 46 of Harding. Trip forwards to play third quarter. This game started at 2. We are just over an hour and 40 minutes old, and we're almost through 3 quarters.
Another stat that's interesting, I think, and I think sometimes, you know, when you get a team on the ground like this, you don't have a chance for pass interferences, those kind of things. There's only been 1 penalty in the game.
Yeah, and it went against OBU 5 yards. Harding is the least penalized team in the country. Hand off to Chancey over right guard, gets out of an ankle tackle, and then falls forward close to the 48-yard line. That'll give him a gain of 2, third down, and a couple upcoming for the Bisons.
You know, we talk all the time about these little things that make the difference. Those the little things keep you from nudging over. That's one big thing, even though some people think it's a little thing. The least penalized team in the country, I mean, that's hard. It's hard to anybody to play like that. But you know what? It's one of those things where you make big plays sometimes because you don't make bad plays.
Harding averages less than 29 yards in penalties per ball game. Jalen Spicer gets the pitch around the right end, and he has a first down to the OBU 44-yard line. So Harding just methodically working the field again, trying to perhaps put the hammer down, leading 24-7.
Got to give it up to Payton. That is the last second pitch. You think the quarterback's going down, they're holding him, and he pops that ball on the pitch up so high, it looks like a fumble, and Spicer just goes under it and grabs it.
Can you imagine the hours that they have had to do this, to perfect this offense, because their ball handling is just unbelievable?
And the timing, you're exactly right, Todd. All that practice, the timing, the discipline that Coach Simmons exhibits.
Everybody in tight for the 45 of OBU. They motion a man to the near side. It's Chancey, and he's tripped up at the 43-yard line.
I tell you, Harding is so disciplined, it just seems like Paul Simmons probably take away some crackers if somebody has a false start or something out of their lunchbox.
Jackson Turner was the one that
the old
made
cracker.
the stop.
Wait a minute. Is that the old cracker out of the lunchbox thing?
Yeah, no crackers for you today.
Well, Brooksy wouldn't care. He'd false start because he didn't like carbs. You and I, on the other hand, might as well cut our arms off if they deny us
what?
food.
If it happened to me, it wouldn't even bother me. You two guys would be crying like babies.
So you're right. 2nd and 8 to the 43. Payton now will option to the near side. He keeps it as he cuts inside to the 40s, down to the 35, and that should be enough for another first down. Harding lost 33-32 to Southeastern. Southeastern playing Henderson State tight today in the battle of the only 2 unbeatens remaining in the conference. And it took a late 2-point conversion after a touchdown by the Savage Storm to subdue the Bisons.
And that first down is going to allow Harding to run the quarter clock out.
Harding today has rushed for almost 200 yards. Payton will give it to Chancey again, a little seam of the right side, and he is tripped up. Matt Norman was the one that got in his way, and then he finally went down at the 28-yard line, so a gain of 7.
You can almost see, guys, that defense beginning to wilt just a little bit. The methodical play of Harding kind of up front now, the guys in the trenches. Right now, that battle is tipped over to the guys in white right now from Harding.
You know, you look at that offensive line of Harding, they don't look physically all that impressive. They average just 258 yards, but they may be as good as anybody at any level in run blocking that you'll ever see. Motion man is spiked to the far side, and Payton will option that way. He has a first down as he's down to the 18 of OBU.
And Todd, you talked about the fact about how much they practice to get all that timing down. The timing on that end around, or actually the quarterback keeper around the right end by Payton, he waited for the tight end to block and then just went around that corner in the open area.
45 seconds and counting to go here in the third quarter. Harding has moved into the red zone. They have it at the 18-yard line. Bisons are perfect this afternoon and trips to the red zone. They came in 7th in the conference at 74% from the red zone. Handoff goes to Blake Dela Cruz, who's out there at fullback now, and he gets from the 18 down to the 12. Just like that, they pick up 6 yards so quick.
Well, and add another rusher. Now they've had 5 people carry the football with Dela Cruz in there.
That'll be the final play of the third quarter, so 15 minutes remain this Saturday afternoon from Shawnee. Through 3, Harding leads Oklahoma Baptist 24-7 on the Bison Radio Network.
Okay, Z-Man, next spot will have to be that local in the 4th to make up, and the adjacency. We'll try to.
Attorney Jordan Klinger at McIntyre Law. We have over 100 years of experience fighting for Oklahomans injured in automobile and semi-accidents. Distracted driving is an epidemic. According to government studies, 1 in 4 crashes now involve texting and driving. That's 1.6 million accidents caused each year by distracted drivers. If you have been injured and you want to know your rights, call us now. The consultation is free. We love what we do and we're good at it. We are trial lawyers. Call McIntyre Law today.
How about this drive? You look up, all of a sudden, there's no time left on the clock. It started with 7:13 to play in the period. This will be the 12th, make it the 13th play of the series upcoming for Harding. Through 3 quarters, Bison with 194 yards of offense. Harding 227, 187 to the ground. OBU today, 10 carries, no yards against the nation's top-ranked run defense.
Well, you can put that in another way. You can take a 9-minute drive to start the game, and now you can have this drive that we're still involved with, and you have over a quarter of the football game right there in those 2 drives.
At the First National Bank and Trust Company, our team is committed to serving yours. Visit our Shawnee branch or find out more about our products and services. Check us out online at fnbokla.bank. The First National Bank and Trust Company, your bank for life, member FDIC. SSM Health St. Anthony Hospital Shawnee has a game plan. It's just simple to keep you healthy into the game of life. Visit ssmhealth.com. 2nd down and 4 as we start the 4th quarter. Harding at the 12-yard line of the Bison. Vassell started a motion, now stays put. They hand it to Dela Cruz, and he gets nothing as he tried the left end. That'll bring it 3rd and 4 at the 12.
First guy there was Felipe Alvear back in pads this week, aided by Josh Arnold.
Felipe, one of my favorite guys. He's a terrific young man and very deserving of that honor that his teammates bestowed on him during the offseason of the opportunity to either wear his normal number of 25 or wear number 0. This is his 3rd game he's played. He has worn 0 in all 3 ball games. 3rd down and 4 Bisons at the OBU 12-yard line. Fake the inside handoff, toss it around the right end with some running room. That is Sinclair, gets out of an ankle tackle, turns the corner, and dives towards the pylon. They have stopped him at the 1-yard line. So
Tyler King, that's the, I'm sorry, Todd. He got out of the grasp of Tyler King. If he's able to hold him up, I don't think he's going to prevent the chains moving. But ball sitting at the 1.
5 first downs
but there's a penalty
in the ball game on this drive for Harding. There is a flag down. It is against the Bisons, and it is a hold. That is their first penalty of the afternoon, and we told you that the least penalized team, forget about the conference, in the NCAA, averaging under 29 yards of penalty yardage per ball game.
And Torian Smith really made a great play there that nobody was going to see. He had Preston Payton around the knees, and he didn't bring him down in time. That last-second pitch again went right.
A minute gone here in the 4th quarter. Todd Miller, John Brooks, Scott Wanish, John Zunlow, the crew with you here from Crane Family Stadium of the Hurt Athletic Complex. So instead of 1st and goal to go, it is now 3rd down and 22. Payton will option right. That's not, it is Payton, and he is drugged down after a yard gain to the 21.
That was Malik Allen pulling Payton down by the shoulder pad.
Payton, he does a great job of taking the option down the line, and when he cuts, he almost steps right and then was able to find that hole back to the left or go the other way. But that time, it was sealed by the defense. He had no place to go.
38-yard attempt on the way for Grant Ennis. Left hash, same spot that he made from 37 in the first half. Ball is back, kick is on the way, and it is a line drive kick that hit the left upright. And misses from 38 yards, and give OBU a win with the assist from the hole.
Well, I was going to say that even if the field goal was good, at least in your mind you're thinking, hey, we scored 3 touchdowns, we're going to win this game. Now it gives you a little bit different look. I think we need a local timeout.
We do. We'll pause for these local messages. We're still early in the 4th, 24-7 Harding on the Bison Radio Network. Harding wants a timeout. Paul Simmons is out of the play. We're back after these local messages on the Bison Radio Network. And that was, I believe, Michael Marshall. It was on the receiving end of that throw from Preston Hare. Did you see how he just kind of sat down there once he knew where he was at in terms of the first down marker?
Yeah, he sat down in the zone and then backpedaled across the marker.
1st and 10. Hare quickly attacks, throws it out right, and the ball batted away, incomplete. He was looking for Marshall again. Oric Walker Jr., the Rover, was the one that knocked it away.
I thought Walker Jr. was there early, right through the back of Marshall.
2nd down and 10. Clock stops with 10:58 to play in the ball game. Harding leading as they did at halftime, 24-7. 3 receivers left, 1 right, with Stever in the backfield. Preston from his own 46 throws right, ball incomplete. And again, early contact. The ball tipped away, incomplete by Roland Wallace.
You know, he did tip it away. It has to do with Cruz. If there's been a lot of penalties called in this game, I bet there's a call there. There have been no penalties called in this game except for 2. He gets away with that. I'm not saying that it had to be pass interference, but sometimes it's the mentality of a Cruz.
It was actually backup quarterback Lionel Masivi that was the one that deflected that ball. The motion Stever to the near side on 3rd and 10. Hare drops to his own 45, rolling right now. He's going to have to run, and Preston doesn't get much. He'll get out of bounds at the 43 of Harding, so only picks up 2. And it's 4th and 8, and you can bet Chris Jensen keeps the offense out there.
Harding's running a zone defense. I'm surprised he can't press him throw here to the left side because he has trips left and only 2 zone defenders over here on our side of the field.
OBU on 4th downs this year, 7th in the conference at just under 56%. This will be their 10th try of the year. Their first of the afternoon. They need to get to the 35 of Harding. Stever in the backfield. Hare will throw from midfield. Throws it over the middle, and it is incomplete. And the timing was off between Preston and Keelan Harris, the intended target.
Well, that's where Hare went. 2 defenders on the outside for Harding. In the slot was Keelan Harris. Keelan Harris ran that little slant, but stopped his momentum going towards, and the ball looked like it was overthrown, but I think Harris just cut that off early.
Harding opponents are now 2 for 7 on 3rd down tries. They came in 3rd best in opponent 4th down conversions of the season. 10:43 to play in the ball game. It's 1st and 10 at the 43 for Harding. Next week, Arkansas Tech on the road, 2 o'clock from Russellville, 1:30 the network pregame show. Single setback is Cole Chansey. It's a keeper. Payton options left and gets up to the 47-yard line. A gain of 4. That'll take us under 10.5 minutes to play in the ball game.
And that clock just continues to melt. 24-7 Harding. Oklahoma Baptist, last gasp, going to have to get a turnover.
OBU will be gone the next 2 weeks. The next home game is 3 weeks from today when Southeastern Oklahoma State comes to Shawnee. 2nd and 6 at the 47-yard line. We are approaching the halfway point here of the 4th quarter. Neither team has scored since halftime. Vassell starts the motion. They fake the inside handoff, toss it right to Omar Sinclair. And that's actually Spicer, and he's rolled down for no gain at the 48-yard line.
Lucky Lasanji. Nice tackle coming up.
Scott, this is by far and away the best job the Bison defense has ever done against this Harding run attack.
You're right, Todd. And people that see in the paper the score 24-7, they won't think that. But you have the 2 turnovers, you have the block punt, return for a touchdown, and that's the difference in the game for Harding.
9:27 and counting to play of the ball game. It is now 3rd down and 5 for the Bisons at their own 48-yard line, traveling north to south, left to right across your radio dial here in the 4th quarter. 2 slots. Chancey stays out there. He's the leading ball carrier today. They'll toss it left to Taylor Bassell. Trying to get to the marker, was stopped, and they didn't get him down. He stays on his feet and gets to the 44-yard line of the Bison.
It looked like Trajan Lands was held on the play, but back to what John said earlier, he's correct. When there's not very many flags and when you get a lopsided score, 21-point difference, they're going to hold it in their pocket unless it's egregious.
A gain of 8 on 3rd and 5. Refreshes the down marker. It's now 1st and 10 Bisons at the OBU 44-yard line. Approaching 6.5 minutes to play in the contest. We are right at 2 hours old in duration. Single setback Chancey. They motion a man to the near side. This time they call Cole Chancey's number. He was stacked up and squirts free to the 40. He'll pick up 4. That's really 4 or 5 yards about what Harding's averaging tonight per carry.
Well, that's exactly what they were averaging at the end of 3. They had 2 carries for 227. You can do the math.
Gotta have some selfless guy that will know. The Lions fans are not working, but there's 3 quarters. Coach Chancey had 20. Scored 2 touchdowns.
Preston Payton under center. Will hand it off. Chancey.
34. And we're going to give the tackle.
Hold Chancey on the carry.
That's his longest run. At the end of 3, he had 68. Tack on a couple of others. He's now approaching close to 90. And you know what's running right now while we wait?
The clock. 1st and 10 at the 29 for Harding. Motion man to the near side. Now it's a keeper by Payton. Is hit once, hit twice, spins to the 24-yard line, and then is gang tackled and
in the quarterback keeper. Caught down by a herd of Bison.
Baptist got behind the 8 ball.
Yeah, go ahead and put 95 and 92
interceptions.
And the ball is at OBU 25-yard line.
The game plan worked out. Here in this big way to key on fourth quarter. Switch.
Like I said earlier, it's all green uniforms. It's all gray and white uniforms today with a little bit of gold piping for OBU with the green helmets. 6:45 to play. This drive exactly 4 minutes old now as Preston Payton walks up to the line of scrimmage from the 25. It's 2nd down and 6. Payton gets the snap. Hands it off to Chancey. There's running room on the right side. He's all the way down to the 16 of the Bison.
He's hovering now, getting very, very close to 100 for the day. You know, we kind of joked about it, but in his career, he's averaged 3 passes a game. That's what Payton has thrown today, 3.
91 for his career, and this is his 30th start in Searcy. He has a 40-yard pass completion to James Townsend. It's only his 2nd career reception as a Harding Bison. Inside handoff again to Chancey, and he gets to the 13. Bison's right now. And they've done that all afternoon long.
Can you imagine if you were a young wide receiver in high school actually being called by Harding to come to the campus?
There's an interesting statistic, and I'll tell you about that in a moment. They have a guy that is a wide receiver, I'll get it in right now, that was over 1,300 yards receiving in high school. Option right by Preston Payton, and he ducks inside.
Tackled by number 29 and 52.
145 yards and 13 touchdowns. touchdowns as a prepster.
Which means he has no ego at all, because he's had to put that on the shelf with this team. Speaks well for the kid, doesn't it?
3rd and a yard. The 7, handoff to Chancey. He falls forward to the 5 and gets the first down, so it'll be 1st down and goal to go for Harding. Paul Simmons
gives the tackle to 51, Torian Smith. The ball is after looks like a 5 to me. Yeah, it's the 5. Who can score?
Back in 2019. It'll also be just the 2nd time in the last 14 games OBU will not eclipse the 30 points.
Ball snap.
Chancey gets his number called again, runs right behind the center Hutto, and he'll pick up 3 down to the 2. Mason just with forward progress able to lead the way that time for Cole Chancey.
You know, there's been all this talk, and rightfully so, all afternoon about the methodical offense, but you can now flip it back over because that defense did stop a long streak. That was a tough defense today for Hare and company to work against, and I thought the coverage by the secondary was absolutely fantastic today.
From the 2, it's 2nd and goal to go. Chancey, the handoff, walks in for the touchdown.
Harding. And the Bison just jumped the left in the 4th quarter. So lead 30-7.
Chancey with an easy touchdown.
Well, Oklahoma Baptist, the line holds up, the linebacker holding up throughout the game, but that wear and tear just over and over again with right tackle Dwayne Johnson, Keegan Shy as well, the center scored a touchdown. He's going to wear down on
the extra point. Everything is perfect at the south end of Crane Family Stadium of the Herd Athletic Complex, and it is now 31-7 Harding as we step aside for this message from
football fans. Your Bison football team returns to Crane Family Stadium.
Attorney Jordan Klinger at McIntyre Law. We have over 100 years of experience fighting for Oklahomans injured in automobile and semi accidents. Distracted driving is an epidemic. According to government studies, 1 in 4 crashes now involve texting and driving. That's 1.6 million accidents caused each year by distracted drivers. If you have been injured and you want to know your rights, call us now. The consultation is free. We love what we do and we're good at it. We are trial lawyers. Call McIntyre Law today.
Scored in Bison's program history. Here is the end-over-end kick, and Harris will just let it sail into the end zone, and OBU will have it 1st and 10 after this break for station identification. This is Oklahoma Baptist football on the Bison Radio.
Drive on 25-yard line.
Upper division teams in the Great American Conference. 31-7. OBU 1st and 10 of their own 27. Back to throw his head. Ladder makes the catch. He's at the 30 or 28-yard line, so a minimal gain. And now they're going to give him to the 29. He'll bring up 2nd down and 6.
OBU just going for pride points, going to try to pick their way down the field, try to make this a 33-14 game.
Reuben Thompson remains out there. 31-7 our score. We're under 3:15 to play in the ball game. receivers wide right. Cordell, who's been the favorite target in the second half of Hare, split short left. Preston drops, now is flushed. He'll scramble. He slides down inside the 40. He clearly gave himself up, Scott, at the 31-yard line. And Tui was the one that may have hit him late.
He might have hit him late, and then also B.J. Burke. I thought he might have had his hand under the shoulder pad or up underneath.
Number 72, defense, 15 yards from the end of the run.
It's a face mask.
First down.
15 yards against Harding, so it wasn't a late hit. But it's still a 15-yard penalty and a first down as OBU will have the football at the 44-yard line.
And that was on defensive tackle B.J. Burke. That was late.
3 minutes to play in the ball game. First down for Oklahoma Baptist. They'll put it down not the 44, but at the 46-yard line. OBU will get ready for Arkansas Tech in Russellville next week. A 2 o'clock kickoff, 1:30 pregame start. Much of the way in the backfield with Hare in the second half. Hare drops, is hit as he tries to scramble. They're going to sack him again. Cameron McIntyre, a sophomore from Denison, Texas, was the one that got to him. And, well, that offensive line today has given up sacks by their standards in abundance.
Yeah. Hare's only spot to go was to the right because of the penetration up the middle, and then McIntyre was just waiting for him.
Second down and 20, the loss back at the 38-yard line. Preston Hare will throw from his own 30, throws it out left. Cordell can't make the climbing catch. Incomplete. Orlando Henley, the corner, was out there in coverage.
It's a good thing that ball was over.
Yeah, Josh Graham comes up incomplete.
Breaking on that.
Get this, Scott, but probably a decade, maybe a decade and a half ago, Harding used to be one of the more prolific throwing teams in the country. He would rank in the top 5 in passing yards. Those days have certainly gone by the wayside, and they've found a terrific recipe for success. Third and long in the delay, they give it straight ahead to Reuben Thompson, and he is smothered as he runs into a wall of Bisons at the 43 and lunges to the 44. He gets 6, so it's 4th down and 14, and the offense will stay out there with a buck.
Reuben Thompson on the carry.
Yeah, that's how disciplined Harding football game on. This is a good call. Josh, Reuben Thompson, and the football on the 44-yard line. Just hanging around in case, and sure enough, they come up and make the tackle.
It just amazes me that kids this age almost every snap of the football. 4th and 16, OBU, they need to get to the Harding 44-yard line. They scrimmage for their own 44. Hare to throw over the middle. The ball is caught. That's a first down at the 43-yard line.
Jai Moore.
Jai Moore, the freshman from Dallas Episcopal.
43-yard line by
Converts on 4th and long with 1:11 to play in the ball game.
Good job by Jai Moore on the crossing pattern, sitting down in the zone. A good throw by Hare.
And before OBU snaps the ball, Harding will spend a timeout and we'll take a break. 31-7. Harding, we're back after these messages on the Bison Radio Network.
Estate planning is a crucial step in protecting your family's future. With an estate plan, you can decide how to distribute your assets, make healthcare decisions, and support ministries after you pass away. It involves some pretty big decisions, but with guidance from Water's Edge, you can plan for your children's future, give to kingdom causes, and get expert help along the way. Build a solid foundation for your family. Start your estate plan today. Visit watersedgeservices.org.
Harding timeout of the second half. Preston Hare on the jet sweep, tosses it left to Keelan Harris. He gets to the 40 and is tripped up as he stumbles down to the 39-yard line. Good play by Kendale Allen, number 29.
I'd say against Keelan Harris in the open field, Allen just grabs his back foot and pulls him down.
2nd down and 6 for the 38-yard line. We're under out left for Cornell. They jumped the route, and the ball is incomplete. And Orlando Henley jumped it in front of Josh Cornell. And
by the number 7 played Cornell on the sideline at least, 7-8 times today?
Yep.
And Henley's been a lot of times.
3rd and 6 at the 38-yard line.
Check around.
In the quarter, and Durant. State 24, Southeastern 21. Preston Hare under duress, guns it over the middle. It's incomplete. Looking for Keelan Harris, who was covered again by Kendall Allen.
And that time Henley came up, was playing really tight on Josh Cornell. Cornell got by him, would have been gone, but Henley had to grab his shirt to hold him back.
This game is going to be over before every other game that started at 2 o'clock. The only game final, Ouachita 64-17 in Arkadelphia today over Northwestern. 4th and 6 at the 38-yard line. Empty backfield. Preston Hare wants to throw. Throws it out left, and he has Harris, who steps out of bounds at the 31 to preserve the clock. He got 7, needed 6, and now 23 seconds remain.
That's just going to be given up free for Harding, even though it was 4th down.
First and 10. Officially now they put at the 32-yard line. 2 receivers left, 3 right. Here from the Harding 40 throws, and the ball batted down, incomplete. Goodness gracious. Caden Pierce leaped in the air and batted that almost from 5 yards away back into Preston's face.
Yeah, sometimes Preston Hare locks in on a receiver a little too long, and then the defender can pick that up. And that was a really nice play. You know, Harding, they've got this game won. They just fight right to the horn.
2nd down and 10 at the 32-yard line. I think both defenses have really played well in this game today. 4 receivers right, single receiver Cornell left from the Harding 32-yard line. Late in the ball game, OBU looking for some points. Hare throws it out left for Cornell, working the sidelines, and he's out of bounds inside the 25.
Henley forcing Cornell out of bounds there. Only 13 seconds left. Just giving some cushion there.
He'll be a yard short. He's out of bounds at the 23. Harding will spend their final timeout. So apparently it's important to the Bisons that they do not give up another touchdown, as they burnt 3 defensive timeouts here in this series.
You're right. You talked about both defenses playing well. Todd, there's times in years, the last 5 years since I've been along, where Harding would just run right through the defense. There's nothing that you could do to stop it. But Oklahoma Baptist, even at the start of the game, they still kept fighting and fighting to keep that offense in check. But when you have the 2 turnovers, you had the block punt for a touchdown, it was just too much to overcome overall.
Next week's opponent, Arkansas Tech, is headed for their first victory of the year against Southern Nazarene. The Wonder Boys 51, the Crimson Storm 21. That game is midway through the 3rd in Bethany. Hard to believe it's mid-3rd, and they started an hour before we started here.
I think Harding ran some running plays today.
I think so. Not a lot of penalties either in this ball game, 3 total. 3rd in the yard for the 23. Preston Hare under duress, flush for the pocket. Now he's going to head for the sidelines. Did he get out of bounds? I think they're going to give him out of bounds at the 22, which is right at the first down marker.
But the clock didn't stop, so it doesn't matter.
So the game is over.
So that makes the game go a little bit quicker as well when you go out of bounds and the clock keeps running.
Final score today, Harding 31, Oklahoma Baptist 7. Chris Jensen is headed for midfield to visit with Paul Simmons after these two have been combatants now for the 6th time head-to-head. Final score, 31-7 Harding. Our post-game show is coming up in just a moment after these local messages on the Bison Radio Network. In the books, Harding beats Oklahoma Baptist today 31-7. The Bisons now have won 4 consecutive games. You look down there on the field, Paul Simmons is seeking out Preston Hare after those two have had some battles over the years. Preston being congratulated by a lot of the Bisons players as well, as his career will finish against Harding with an 0-4 record. Final score 31-7. We owe you another local break, and we'll take it right now on the Bison Radio Network. Family Stadium at the Herd Athletic Complex. Brooksy is down on the field, and he will get with head coach Chris Jensen in a moment after Jensen addresses his team in the wake of a 31-7 loss to 23rd ranked Harding. Our post-game show is coming up next. It's brought to you by OBU alumnus Noble McIntyre and McIntyre Law. In Harding bests Oklahoma Baptist today 31-7 here on the Bison Network. Seven. Let's take a look at the scoring. OBU got off the snide first at a 57-yard Preston Hare to Keelan Harris touchdown pass. That was a 4-play, 72-yard drive in 69 seconds. It made it 7-0. Cole Chansey would score with 14:56 to play in the first half. A 6-yard rush, capping a 9-play, 75-yard drive in 4:54. Indus extra point drew the game even at 7. Chansey then with 5:10 to play in the first half went in from 1 yard, a short 7-play, 34-yard drive in 3:22. That made it 14-7 Harding. With a minute 32 to play in the first half, Grant Innes booted through a 37-yard field goal That was a 4-play, 3-yard drive, 210 for Harding, 17-7. OBU then had the football and a chance to go in no worse than down 17-7, but they quickly went 3 and out, were forced to punt. The punt was blocked. Carroll then returned it 20 yards, the first punt return of a block punt for Harding in 8 years. And it was 24-7 Bisons at halftime. The only scoring here in the second half was a Cole Chansey 2-yard run with 3:39 to play of the ball game. 12 plays, 57 yards the drive, 7:04 in duration for Harding. Time of possession, that's always a statistic that you look at when you play Harding. The Bisons owned the ball 39 minutes and 29 seconds. Oklahoma Baptist had it today for just 20 minutes and 31 seconds. Coming in, Harding was number 1 in the country in terms of time of possession at over 37 minutes a ball game. They own possession more than 7 minutes per game more than OBU, and today they have it 19 minutes more than Oklahoma Baptist. As our McIntyre postgame review continues, let's go downstairs to John Brooks, who's standing by with the head coach of Oklahoma Baptist, Chris Jensen.
Chris, the very first thing you said when you gathered the club, you immediately started talking about the defense. I mean, I've caught the fringe of these before. You were pretty fired up today. You wanted to let them know that even though that scoreboard might not reflect it, this was a pretty darn good performance.
I think it was. You know, we gave them 17 points off of 2 turnovers and a blocked punt in the first half. The way where they make their money is making adjustments at halftime and coming out and shoving it down your throat. And I think that our defense did a great job holding them to 7 points in the second half. And I'm extremely proud because the reality is it's really hard to get 11 guys to be disciplined for 60 minutes when they're playing an offense like that, and I feel like our guys for the most part were. They're going to make their plays. They had 2 phenomenal plays. On the pass, I think we defended it well. It's not like the guy's running free. He makes a great catch. And then on the pitch, when we got the quarterback dead to rights on 4th down, he makes the pitch. Those 2 plays were critical for them in the first. I mean, those are the only 2 big plays that they really made, I felt like. But we'll evaluate the film. And, I know we can play better. I'm encouraged by the defense and how they played today.
When you play this team, and it's said every year, I mean, it's fact, when you methodically stay out on the field 9, 7, 6.5-minute drives, it's just exhausting. It's exhausting for a defense, exhausting, I think, probably mentally for a team, knowing that every time they go out there, hey, you may be over on the sideline, an offense waiting.
Well, and that's part of it. Not only do you have to be disciplined every down, but you have to draw that energy. You have to summon that energy from somewhere every down. I don't think we got beat because of energy. I don't think we got beat because of effort. I don't think they wore us down on defense. I really don't. We didn't make plays on the offensive side of the field that we're capable of. But this is a credit to their defense. They play a really good defense. Special teams. That 1 block punt. Because I felt going into it, they excel at special teams, and they had a chance to have an edge there. If they don't get that block punt, I feel like we did a good job with everything else. But it's discouraging, but it's also encouraging.
So discouraging and encouraging, and now you look ahead. There's a lot of bright space out there. You kind of hinted at that as you were closing out your comments to your team.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we've got our goals still in front of us. If we can go on a run, and that starts being 1-0 this week, if we can go on a run, who knows what happens at the end of the season.
All right, best of luck.
Thank you.
Chris Jansen, very, very candid in his remarks with Brooksy on the field. John, you can tell the disappointment of this football team. They are walking off the field knowing that this was a game they thought they could win coming in and just didn't do enough of the right things at the right time, especially from an offensive standpoint, to win it.
Yeah, I think so. And when I was visiting with Chris about what he had said, there was a passion there, and I think maybe in his own mind that he was thinking, okay, this is a team that's down right now, but listen, you've got a lot of reasons to really have a positive look ahead. And while he would not say it, I thought he hinted that, guys, take care of business. You've got a chance now to still be a postseason team. It didn't come out of his mouth, but I think it was in his thoughts, and I think that's probably going to be a little bit of a thought the rest of the way here. take care of business, hey, you've still got a chance to be a postseason team.
The Bison will have the schedule stiffen even more. They've played two of the top dogs, in fact, the top two teams in the preseason conference poll, but they still have a home date with Southeastern. They have to go to East Central, who is much better, and then, of course, a home game with Henderson State and a road trip to Southern Arkansas. So the schedule will get much more difficult for Oklahoma Baptist, but I can tell you, I've been with this program and watched Bison football since 2015. Today, limiting Harding to 285 yards of total offense, the best single day I remember, Scott Wanish, from an OBU defense.
Oh, no doubt about it. Talking to Brandon Morris at halftime, he was happy with being disciplined. Said just need to continue that, being disciplined, maybe force a turnover, because when Oklahoma Baptist got in that 24-7 hole at the break, they had to almost get a turnover for any chance. And Oklahoma Baptist did not do that, and Oklahoma Baptist did not score. So we're 31-7. Harding wins the game.
That's the final. Our post-game show continues. It's a post-game review brought to you by Noble McIntyre and McIntyre Law here on the OBU Football Radio Network. From Shawnee, where 23rd ranked Harding has beaten Oklahoma Baptist this afternoon in Great American Conference play. Final score, the Bisons 31, Oklahoma Baptist 7. First downs of the ball game, Harding had 17, OBU had 15 rushes. The nation's leading rushing team, Harding, who came in for the season averaging 387 yards per game of the ground. OBU held them on 61 carries to 245 yards. Preston Payton, their quarterback, was 1 of 3 passing for 40 yards, 64 snaps, 285 yards of total offense today for Harding. OBU had their worst rushing day in a long, long time. They only tried 16 rushes and carried for 3 yards. Preston Hare put it up 43 times today, completed 27, had a touchdown pass and 2 interceptions, 264 yards today for the senior from the Trophy Club, Texas. Total offense, OBU 59 snaps, 267 yards. In the punting department today, Harding punted twice for an average of 40.5. That was Cameron Scott. Ethan McCassin punted 3 times for an average of 23. The average is low because of the block punt that was returned for a score with 32 seconds to go in the first half. In the penalties, Harding averaged less than 29 a game coming in to lead the country. The Bisons flagged 3 times for 30 yards today. OBU was penalized once for 5 yards. Possession time, 39 minutes, 29 seconds for Harding, 20 minutes, 31 seconds for Oklahoma Baptist. Third down conversions, Harding was 10 of 14. OBU was 4 of 12. That was a really key stat in this ball game. Fourth down conversions, 1 of 1 for Harding, 2 of 3 for Oklahoma Baptist. OBU did not have a red zone opportunity today. Harding was 4 of 5 inside the Oklahoma Baptist red zone. Scott, as you look at those team numbers, one thing really sticks out to me besides time of possession, the fact that OBU, who has been among the conference best in third down conversions, simply was not today, just 4 of 12 in that category.
Well, part of that was not getting Tyler Stever involved in the game. Like last week at Southwestern, Stever had 116 yards rushing, 15 yards rushing today. So when you take Stever out of that game, the pass rushing for Harding just pin their ears back, coming in, and then you have 3 sacks on Preston Hare, which is rarity for the offensive line for OBU.
Final score, Harding 31, Oklahoma Baptist 7. More on the postgame show coming up in 90 seconds on the OBU Football Radio Network. $15 yards. Reuben Thompson, 2 totes for 8. Preston Hare today really was harassed a lot in the pocket. He had 8 carries for minus 20 yards. So a tough afternoon for the senior quarterback from Texas. Hare today, 27 of 43 passing, a touchdown, 2 interceptions, 264. He was sacked 3 times. In 4 games, Preston Hare had been sacked a total of 3 times. Josh Cornell was targeted 14 times, had 10 catches for 56 yards. His longest was 10. The only reception was touchdown score was to Keelan Harris. He had 6 more catches for 95 yards, including the 57-yarder for the score. Julian Clark, 4 catches, 41 yards. Sam Sharp, 2 for 12. Shea Garner had 2 catches for 4 yards. Michael Marshall had a terrific catch on 3rd and 22 from the 15-yard line of the second half. A one-handed grab for 39. Jai Moore had 1 catch for 13. Reuben Thompson 1 for 4. Braden Phipps was targeted once but did not have a catch. Ethan McCassin today, 2 punts, an average of 34.5 officially. Keelan Harris had 1 kickoff return for 16. Guillermo Garcia Rodriguez missed his only attempt of a field goal today from 45 yards. Individually for Harding, Preston Payton, the quarterback, was 1 of 3 passing for 40 yards. The leading rusher was Cole Chansey, 27 carries, 103 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Preston Payton carried 16 times for 67. Taylor Bissell, 6 carries for 41. Omar Sinclair, 6 for 21. Jalen Spencer toted the football twice for 8 yards. Blake Dela Cruz, 2 for 6. And Zach Smith, 2 carries for -1. Cameron Scott today punted twice for an average of 40.5 yards. His longest punt was 41. Their leading returner in the return game was Cooper Carroll, and he returned that blocked punt for a touchdown. And in the field goal department, Grant Ennis was good from 37, missed from 38 today. So that is a statistical recap of this one. Oklahoma Baptist will fall to 3-2 on the year. 23rd ranked Harding goes back home for a matchup next week. Their record will be 4-1. We owe you a final local break, and we'll take it now, stations. Final score today, Harding 31, Oklahoma Baptist 7. This is Bison Football on the OBU Radio Network.